Yep. Here we are. Don't do it. Yeah. July patient. Get your speakers up. What is up? Happy Friday. Welcome to Last Call Podcast Live. And you know what, man? Let's just, we got to get into it.
You should never in your wildest dreams shit on a nigga. Police, eat a dick straight up. You know why?
Clap, clap on, clap off. Clap at him and I do not mean applause. Rap nicer than Santa with no claws. Track twice as bananas with no chorus. Yeah, it's suicide murder. In the hood like catalytic converters, on the block like Lego, in the streets like street light. Three little pigs is what I be on these beats like. In other words, the police say it like pop the police. Fuck 'em. And that's straight from the underground. But little kids got it bad cause we brown. Now who am I, Piedmont, to do or die? Nah, South Suicide, Queensbury, I get down. I peep surveillance in the street every summer. You may not play lotto, but you know these numbers. The 105th, the 103rd, my people's in Queens, the 113th. We get the urge to get on some talk shit. My brain's a Glock clip, my lanes be on some 1-800 cop shot shit.
Say when we gonna say we were gonna get it together. Yeah. One day. I said the people don't clap.
Yeah. Something that I'm doing. You know, when I put on my little intro music, I decided to put a little track, a little digging in the crates there for something for my introduction. If you could see that, that's the one, or if you even recognize the voice, that's Pharaoh Monch, a song by the name of Clap. Just giving you a little piece of that as we get started today. Happy Friday. Welcome to Last Call Podcast Live. We're about to do it, man. We got a few things lined up that we need to do today. Glad that you're here. I do a live about once a week, just on some subjects going on sometimes around the news, the YouTube streets, all that good stuff. Last week, we were fortunate enough to go through a documentary. It was the Exonerated Five. Not the docudrama, but the actual made a few years before that, a real documentary that got deep into the case. And man, we had some good contributions. I had some good feedback from that. Respect to PBS, Ken Burns, Sarah Burns, even YouTube for allowing that shit to still be up. And if you missed it, I recommend you go back to Last Call Podcast number 38. You got a documentary there that you'd have to pay for somewhere else. So it's not even right out there. And I also just did a reminder every week on top of the live, what we're doing tonight at 9:00, for a couple hours. Hopefully I got you guys. I also do a video once a week about something going on in the YouTubeosphere also. So go check those out. Other than that, I drop a shorts, normally digging in the crates, give you some good vibes for the week once or twice. Just to keep the ball rolling, to keep you in tune, to know what kind of vibes to expect and what we're doing too, man. And welcome here. We got some new subscribers, even though I don't have a whole gang of subscribers like everybody else. We're growing a small, strong little army here, man. And I appreciate that. All the newbies and the oldies too. Appreciate you guys stepping up, coming aboard. And do me a favor, man. Like, share, subscribe. As we get started. Yeah. So normally in the week, I started this thing. I guess I'm an extension of the so-called sector. And a couple of my homies, I was on a brother of a certain age podcast yesterday, man. He had a real good one. I don't think he's even did a live since like 3 months or so. So it was good to see him on. You know how YouTube is, man. I didn't get the notification, but as soon as I saw that name, I was like, jumped right on that and, got to catch up and speak with him a little bit, which was really cool, man. Go check his stuff out if you get the chance to do that. And anybody else, good to be on that podcast and chop it up with my brother, a brother of a certain age. So, I've been coming on here. This is episode 39. We did 39. That's 39 weeks of this bad boy. And I've been having fun so far. We've been, we had the chance to be silly, enjoy each other's company on this thing. We also had some very deep discussions, uncovering and discovering a lot of our emotions and our connections to things in the past as we have these adult conversations that we handle here, in the live too, man. So I'm very grateful for that. Lately I've been joined by, well, I guess I could always say I've been joined by Tiz from the Partners. He's one of 3 over there. They got almost 200 episodes over there, man. And I don't know. He has to come on here and tell you. I was not an online chatting guy, but I would be in some people's chat, while their live is going on and stuff. And the Partners are one of the podcasts that I would stay in the chat. And I swear over 100 episodes ago or so, like I'm saying, these guys are rounding out to about 200 episodes. I was there from almost the start, man. Just a little, contributor once in a while in the chat. Before too long, they would invite me up. And I never really had experience with that kind of chatting before, but because I was so interested in what they were saying, they were cool dudes to kind of like hang out instead of being out, the topics they were talking about, and I could contribute a little bit, and I was doing that. And, they gave me the encouragement to go do your thing, man, blah, 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 blah. So I got a lot of that from a brother of a certain age, from Tiz, all these dudes, man, open arms, and they've been supporting me ever since. So, when I started mine, Tiz would be on here too, checking in. I'm surprised he hasn't already. And he would also give me the Tiz top 3, and we would incorporate that in the show too. And then the last few episodes, I've been joined by Josephine, the chat activist, as a partner in crime, female partner in crime in this too. And she's been great, man. Definitely a great mind to bounce things off of, to carry a conversation, to bring new things to light, man. So I've just been having a ball with this. I can't even believe I've done, this is number 39, man. And a little bit about the live. If you could see the, what the hell do you call those things? The thumbnails and stuff. I started out using some logos. I used Run DMC. I used, which one? Death Row. But lately, I've just been kind of keeping it with old records that I like and taking titles, sometimes from that, or creating my own titles too. So there's a lot that you could do from just the visuals that you get from this and from listening too, because we reference a lot of things, man. And, I try to put a little bit into it. As Josephine says, I'm not too much on the technical side, but it's all right. It's all right. Learning a little bit, but I'm comfortable doing what I want to be doing right now. So I thank everybody who comes by, chills out. Old Schooler Emmanuel, Briggs is always in the house and always contributing to just a good group. And along when we discuss what's going on in the news and stuff, like I told you last week, I played the whole documentary of the Central Park Five, now known as the Exonerated Five. We had Stephanie Collins come up with, a resident legal analyst, come up and share a lot of insight and her side of things as well. And anybody who came on, YM, I think Beautiful Bernice came up, a couple other people, nobody overshadowed the documentary. They didn't want to. That's not what this thing was about. It was about to give a little comment, give a little insight, and let the thing roll. So at the very least, when you go to episode 38 of mine, you could see a whole documentary too, man. And I'm not going to lie. I may have been a little bit nervous to play a documentary on a Friday night to, a few of our friends, our listeners on here, because I don't know, they expect some laughter when they come on. They expect something insightful. They might expect some banter, some conversation, then rather this PBS documentary. And I was so pleased about the way that it was received and discussed and supported and shared by everybody, man. It just made me feel good, about the community that I'm part of to do this kind of thing too, man. So salute to you guys keeping this thing going, even though my audience is very small right now. I like it, man. We're building up a thing, right? So salute as we get into some other things tonight. So what are we doing tonight?
Back at the show.
What are we doing tonight, man? We are going to do a couple things. And I don't want to be too long. I say that all the time. Don't want to be too long, but a lot of the times the conversation is worth it. And people that jump up on here, it's worth to keep them around, and we're discussing what we're discussing. But, I want to try to do a tight hour, 2 hours at the most. And, have everybody. I think the partners I think they switched days today. So they're going to be popping off soon. And you got KKC back in the mix too, who was also a friend of the show, man. Came on here and showed support. And you could definitely find me in his chat once in a while too, man. And I just got to say that I love that kind of support. Like, I didn't even think I was known, much less around these. I was ridiculed for thinking of how little I was known around these, the sector. And, I got, for the most part, nothing but love, man. So here we are. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I'm just popping the vibes here on a Friday. We're about to get into some stuff, but I want an overall theme into some stuff that I want to discuss here tonight, man. Yeah, it's up on there. Please do me a favor, subscribe, help me grow, man. They say you got to ask sometimes, so I'm just asking. Do what you got to do. Spread my information around, Get me up there, man. I'm trying to do it earnestly, honestly. I'm trying to earn your subscription and keep your subscription. So, you feel good about some of the things that I've done, the videos that I put out, the information I put out, the vibe that I put out. Then, damn it, go ahead and drop that subscription for me. And I really appreciate that. All right. Anyway, we need to get back to what we need to get back to. I don't want to sound too preachy tonight, but I might have to, man. For all this nonsense, you see it in the background. Just trying to bring it back down before I get into this more serious content. Oh man, I left my door open to get some air in here. Here come the mosquitoes. All right. dude Emmanuel Briggs in the house. How you doing, my brother, man? Welcome. Happy Friday. No, that's right. It's Friday, man. I just want to ride, man, you know. Popping your head to this. Good vibes to this. Yeah. Pop your head, get the week off of you, man. Shake the week off. Get ready for the weekends. We're here, man. Hell yeah. Yeah. We're trying not to get too carried away, man. It's a good break. We might bring that back a little later on. So as you can see, a couple things in the background over here is we gotta get a little more serious in the live tonight, unfortunately, man. And it's really two main things that I want to go over that I'm sure you've seen in the news lately. This Las Vegas online real-time action deletion, let's just say, right? A brother of a certain age was talking about it yesterday on his live too. And, you know, I heard about this, like you hear a lot of things online, man. And yeah, I'll say I dismissed it a little bit, you know, as more of this internet. Let me go back, because I know I've said this. The people that drop in every week are aware of this too. I'm not a social media dude. Like what I'm doing here, although I don't think I'm changing the world or anything like that. We just got good vibes between a few people. I don't take this as seriously as most folks. You know, it's just, this is fun for me. This is good connection for me. It's therapy. It's talking to people, being with some like-minded people. That's what it does for me. I'm not trying to be rich with this. I think that would take more than what I'm willing to sacrifice to do this. So I'm just building. This is episode 39, man. Believe it or not, when I was doing, I only got like over 100 subscribers at this time, but far cry from just a few months ago when I had like less than 20 and like 15 or 12 people. And then I started doing this thing, and you know, people tune in, people watch my stuff and give me some good feedback and some good encouragement. So, you know, I'm doing this. I would never, you know what I relate, and I'm going to get into this. I hope I'm not jumping around too much and everything, because I had a, I won't call it an incident, but an unpleasant drive to work this morning. You know, this guy was driving aggressively, trying to get around me. I didn't let him. We exchanged words at the light. And these people just don't know. You're a tough guy in your car. The minute you step out, and it's the same goes for me. I know I could be in trouble yapping back. I don't know the next man in the car or whatever, what they got. But there's a certain mentality that goes with that. Either you've been through some shit, you know what to expect. even in a little case like that, a little interaction like that could spill over into some dangerous shit. But people, there's a group. I don't know if it's the new millennium dudes or if it's dudes that just aren't used to having confrontations, or these are the dudes that are just used to having confrontations online, thinking that it's not real, uh, no real consequences coming towards them as well. Oh, there she is. Joe. What's up? What do you say? You just got home. I'm still working on this live. So I thought about what you said. You are working on something for this live. You got something lined up, is what I understand. And the last thing I think we talked about was comedians, but it could go either way. I started, so if you're just getting in, you're doing what you got to do. I know you're gonna join, whenever you can. So please do that. That is all good over here. But for your live, well, damn. All right, fine. Work on your life. I thought we had a Friday night thing, but it's cool. This week you abandoned me. You abandoned me last week for your anniversary. Damn. I'm just kidding. Do what you gotta do. I'm just gonna talk it up here. Hope to do about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We're putting some long ones in, man. We're doing all 3 hours, 4 hours. Going back to what I was saying, that's a lot of social stuff for me. I'm not really an introvert, but I'm not an extrovert. I don't really talk when I don't need to be talking. And like I tell these young dudes that I work with, like, don't just waste your words, man. Talk. Make sure what you're saying is necessary and potent enough. That's the strength of having a strong vocabulary. So that you're not talking in circles or, you know what I'm saying? Nah, man. But, well, what are you saying? Say something. Articulate. Find some vocabularies. That's one thing that I like. If we are talking about anything, if we're talking about a public speaker, if we're talking about a leader, we're talking about a radio host, if we're talking about comedians, it's not so much the slapstick or the acting silly or the vulgarity of what they're saying. It's that how they cut to the bone. Like I think Bill Burr said it. There's trimming that there's no fat in that joke. That you get to the joke like you told the perfect joke. There's no fat on it. You get right to the joke. That's what's so beautiful with words with me, right? So anyway, that leads me into a couple things. Back to, yes, I am talking about this. I don't even really want to spend a whole lot of time on this Las Vegas because I think it's senseless. But I think there's a couple things to take away from this also, right? I mean, you better. Life was lost, it's too stupid. So let me go into, what? Let me play a little bit of this. So what you're seeing in the background, it's not all. I'm of course taking it from somebody else's channel. Hopefully they're cool. Let me give you credit there in just about a minute. Hang on. Let me turn this down. Let me go into this for a minute. Who are you? You are, damn. Ikidmel Clips. I'm sorry if I'm fucking that up. Don't strike my shit, dude. just let me know. All right, so I'm gonna play this. So I saw a few videos on this. Like I said, I was on a Brother of a Certain Age's podcast last night, and he was telling me a little bit about it. Largely, it was ignored because a lot of these little back and forth things or sensationalized YouTube things, I kind of stay away from it until I could look a little more deeply into the issue and find out what's up. So I hate even this term that it's over some YouTube beef. What the fuck is YouTube beef, man? This is where we're at now. And this is where I was relating the thing back to traffic. And, now to a dude like me, having so-called YouTube beef sounds clownish. it sounds silly. You can't approach me with some YouTube beef. But on the other side of that, to some people, this YouTube shit is life. It's their reputation. And what makes it more detrimental to a lot of people, now you get paid. So it doesn't even matter how much integrity, your content has. That doesn't matter. Now you're bringing in a paycheck. Now it becomes a paycheck that you developed a lifestyle on. So it doesn't even matter. You expect this money. You want to defend this money, right? So let me play a little of this and then I'll have some more comments for you. So here we go. Some YouTube so-called beef. This dude, this couple, going back and forth, sending messages. Apparently this guy got a strike, which is very serious in the YouTube community because it prevents you from making that money, getting those views, creating that content that brings in your little revenue or your big revenue for that point. But you know what the crazy thing is? If you have a trade, if you train for something, you went for college for something, you could have that indignation that you put work in to get this stuff out, to enjoy the fruits of your labor. The thing I find about YouTube, anybody who's willing to sacrifice whatever it is that they want to sacrifice could jump on, make those sacrifices, and make that money, And it's very sad. What's up, Lorna? What's up, Steph? Lorna, is that a picture of you or is that Princess Di? I can't see my screen that well. I don't want to offend you, but because she's been in the news, I saw some things in the news. Is that Lady Di? Or is that what you really look like? I don't know. Please tell me. So back to what I'm saying. When I hear all these YouTube things going back and forth, but very rarely beyond a confrontation does it end in death. Remember, Tariq and Umar had a thing. One of them was doing an interview. I think it was who was sitting down. And Tariq came into the room and was like, "What's up now? What's up now?" On some little boy shit. We got to do better, man. And that's where I was saying the thing about expanding your vocabulary. Still, you don't have to waste words. You don't have to act out your frustrations. You could vocalize your frustrations instead. So this part of this video is very airy because essentially what we're looking at through this camera, the couple is doing their stream, and not even the alleged deleter, but the actual person, you'll see how it is planned that he's walking right in plain sight, not sort of inconspicuously, doesn't want to be noticed, tries to do his dirt off camera, does his thing right there, not quite broad daylight, but you get the concept. Is this where we're at? You're having feelings hurt. This isn't stable shit. Like I couldn't imagine anybody online pissing me off like that where I got to do that. And I'm not even saying I'm always in control of my temper like that, but where are we at with this? Where are we at with this? Anyway, let me play this and then we can discuss it a little bit. Here we go. So boom, right here, they're saying. So obviously they've been, the husband and wife team been streaming for a little bit. This is the guy, and how they know this is the guy, obviously through his accounts. He's made some, even later in the video also, he's made some videos, some threats, looks very much like him, but we'll continue this as well. I just find it interesting, like by this time, this person already knows what he's about to do and has the nerve to walk across the street. He's trying not to be known, I think, trying to blend in with the crowd so he could do his dirt off the video. Here we go. there. Did you see that? That was even like a bitch shot. He doesn't handle a gat. He did that like oh. This is arm. That's not even. That's like lower body. That's real wimpy and stuff. And then here we go. Here come the fuzz. Now the wife did some weird stuff too, man. First of all, they didn't even have this much police when Tupac got shot. And then the wife was shot right after that too. Now people are criticizing. This is the doofus talking. Let's get a little bit of his personality here. Oh, son of a bitch. You know I didn't pay to be a member yet. All right, here we go. I just want to hear you, let you hear him talk a little bit.
My invite, Mr. Marquez. That's right. I'm gonna show up. I should have been the first one to be told.
So he's talking about this checking in bullshit, and you see this grandiose attitude. He looks like a little motherfucker too, like just sinking in that car seat. I know dudes do that, but where the shoulders are in the car, way steering wheel way up here. He was a little motherfucker, so he's probably one of these incel ass dudes.
What we're doing, I'll fucking be there. I'll fucking be there. You better fucking believe it. You come to my city and think I'm not gonna show up? You fucking think I'm not gonna show up? I should have been the first one to be told. Right? Somebody should have said
That's just lame that dudes are walking around like this.
Invite, Mr. Marquez. That's right.
So obviously, dude is just you care too much about what people think. People you don't know. All for the camera. All for the gram. Isn't that what they say? This is the dude whose website
really
it is.
Isn't for everybody. And anybody, of course, can make a YouTube account and start streaming,
That's what I was
doing their
saying.
life. And you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because these people, some people, I don't know if it's mental health with this Manny guy. I don't know to the extent of their beef, even though whatever extent, you
It
just
could
can't
mail
go shooting
clips.
people, right? This man, two of them are dead. Finney and his partner, his girlfriend, his wife, both of them are dead, killed on live stream. And because somebody says something verbally,
I think it's that, but I also think it's about the sensationalism of what it is too, right? I honestly think a lot of these people don't even think about the next day after they do the bullshit. Let me, Lorna, I just want to see what you said here. That is Princess Di. I have her picture to remind everyone that the grass is not greener on the other side. She was rich, white, privileged, and married, philander, and died in a tunnel. That is true. You know, that is a good reminder. She was a decent person. She wasn't like them either, right? All right, yeah, I saw that, man. Obviously, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, too, right? Yes, miserable indeed. That's what I said, man. We somebody try to jump up here. Yeah, there wasn't that much cars when Tupac got it, man. Back in the days, now millions of cars are fucking coming out over there. You sound like one of those Southerner. Oh yeah. He does, right? It was Carlos Mencia and the whole joint. He was putting a little something on. You know. Got Joe in the house. What's up, partner?
Hey, what's up? Hopefully my mic is working. Okay, can you hear
You
me?
sound very clear. Goodness, I'm jealous. What the hell?
What's going on?
Same old, same old. You doing your work? You finished, or you in the middle? You taking a break?
Taking a teeny break.
All
Um,
right.
I'm behind a little bit because I'm trying to see if I need the music to what I'm doing. So yeah. So, but
Right.
no, continue. This is good commentary.
What what time are you on tomorrow? Did you decide on a
I'm
time finally?
5 o'clock. I think I'm gonna do 5 Central Time.
Oh, that might be a better time. Be out of the gym by then. I'll be
Yeah,
clicking on and off, jumping
yeah,
in and out. So that's
yeah.
even though I probably don't have a whole lot to say because you're on the other spectrum of this whole deal, and I'm barely involved. So
Yeah, it's a production. It's not what people expect, but you'll pick up on it from the beginning. Like you'll like automatically know like this. Hopefully it's really superly hilarious because that's the whole point.
all right.
So we'll see.
All right. I'm sure it's going to be good. I'm sure it's going to be good. All right. So we could get back to this and talk about it for a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be as long tonight. So, I want to do this, have a good one, and bam, bam, get it done. Did you even watch last week's podcast?
I didn't get listen.
Oh,
I was busy all week. It's like it's
you
like
were.
it.
You were.
Yeah, it's and then today I just came back from the lake, so
Look at you. All
I'm
right.
moving around.
That's cool. That's cool. What
Yeah.
up? What up, Tiz? So back to this. I am so I'm even more removed from how does it get here? Like I feel like I'm behind a stage because in some way this sort of action is acceptable. People are expected to act out these days, you know, um, because this YouTube thing is life to them. Their reputation on this front is very real to them that they feel like they have to go out. And what I was saying, like they're not even considering the next day after you run up on two people, do that, and then what? What becomes of you? You think you're immortalized? People are going to make songs about you. Well, what do you think the next step is for you, right? And I'm just part of me is really trying to understand of the mentality of people um who engage in activities like this. Words are warning signs that this dude could run up and do something like that in real life, you know? A lot of people are saying that this guy in no way was any sort of stable, you know? And you should know, but again, I don't know. I'm just not I'm not of that cut from that cloth to have to do or be involved in anything like this. Also, what up, Black Anonymous? Um, what are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Sort of. I know you're working over there, but what do you think as you go through this? So you've heard of it, obviously, by now, right?
Oh yeah, I heard a lot of it.
Now, do you think are we going to see more behavior like this, or like what the hell?
I think that yeah, I think that the climate that we live in, I like you know, if people are willing to travel, but I think that this guy didn't think that he was gonna come out here and do this. Like, this is Nevada, they have a death penalty in this state and everything. So you
Mhm.
don't think somebody would just, I don't know what he was thinking. Like I don't know if he thought he wasn't gonna get caught. I mean, there's cameras up and down the strip.
Yeah. There
Like it
sure
didn't
are.
take him a sec. Like there's I think there's a YouTube channel where you can actually move the camera around. I
Ah,
know there's a camera on MGM.
mhm, mhm.
So like that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I, it's ridiculous, and even the part I didn't want to show it too much, but the part where he actually was doing the, pulling the trigger there, he didn't look seasoned. like it looked like reality almost hit him in that moment. Like this ain't no water gun, you know, before he released there. And it's just, I think people don't even think about it until maybe the next day. Like this is just some virtual shit where reality doesn't even catch up with what the hell they're thinking, you know? Stephanie Collins, what's up? Good to see you again.
Hello. Good to see you. What it do?
I know,
Hey,
man.
Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I'm not gonna be up here long. I'll probably come back later. I gotta call my folks. We talk every Friday night.
Mhm.
But I think I can probably speak for all of us up here that a prison sentence, or even the death penalty isn't the reason that all three of us haven't killed somebody, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly. And so that doesn't that if you bound and determined to do this to somebody, you're not thinking like, oh, I might spend the rest of my life in prison. It's likely I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison, or
Mhm.
I'm going to get the death penalty. That's not what they're thinking. You
Mhm.
know, once you're bound and determined to do this to somebody, that ain't that's all out the window. That's gone. You know, and it's just about like it's the adrenaline, it's the chemicals in their brain, it's all those like let's get a cracking type, emotions, and those chemical spikes, and the consequences be damned at that point.
Right, right.
Because if you are I don't think there's a person, I would hope not, that I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, I would kill somebody, except I really don't want to go to prison.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think that's how people who aren't killers think. Nobody sitting around going like, "Yeah, I kill a lot of people, except I really don't want to do the time."
Mhm.
Like that's not how people think that aren't killers. But
Absolutely.
like if you are a killer, prison ain't gonna stop you at the end of the day.
Mhm. So let me ask you this. Uh, is that energy transferable? Like if it wasn't those two individuals, would it have been at a traffic light? Would it have been at a bank? How does that
Yeah, I mean,
behavior manifest?
I think if we could answer that, we'd all win the Nobel Peace Prize,
Yeah, yeah,
because that whole thing has escaped us for the longest.
yeah.
If we could figure it out, I think that's $1 million question.
Yeah.
Um, but I think actually the very very little silver lining to all this is I do think it's sparking a lot of conversations on the platform about like, as much as people talk, we've seen in the sector, like we've seen people pull their guns out and show them on camera, right?
Yeah.
They talk big talk, but I think this is making people think like, man, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. So they still may talk it on YouTube, but I think that this is going to give people a lot of pause before they actually like think about, like actually rolling out and catching a flight. Because I think people are all looking at this going like, that dude's crazy. That like, this is a crazy situation, and nobody wants to be these people.
Yeah. I have a lot of the same thoughts there, but I also think it might not change anything.
No, that
It
too.
might cause a little bit of a discussion. Uh, again, I'm not sure this guy knew what he was in for. I'm
I
sure
don't think he did
saw it
either.
at the moment, I'm
Yeah.
sure he didn't think about it after, like the next day sitting in jail or whatever, or even those two people not being around after the case. Now, I think some of the answer is obvious, but does the ego and the addiction of social media uh, uh, galvanize in a way this sort of behavior, as where you probably might let it go or handle it a different way in like real reality?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that could galvanize people. Before with social media, it's like uh, it's like social fringe, like I think about, I lived through the Oklahoma City bombing, and like that was the fringe political movement that motivated them to do that, right?
Yeah.
And Timothy McVeigh like went to his death with his head held high. Like he was like, yeah, I did that shit, and I don't give a like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
proud of it, Terry Nichols, who was his co-defendant, like my dad knew the U.S. Marshals that guarded him during trial. He cried himself to sleep every night. Just a totally different like thing that he experienced because it dawned on him what he actually did, and he regretted it. But when they were building that thing and they were going in to do it, it was like it never even dawned on him. What the hell are you doing? Like, what do you think is going to happen? And I just think like it's like the mindset that leads people to do this. Like again, like it's beyond really comprehension. Because if we can figure it out, I think like I said, that's the $1 million question. That's a Nobel Peace Prize if we can figure this out.
Right. And again, I like that you use the Oklahoma City thing there as an example. 2 guys involved, 2 very different reactions to one so sure. What makes that mentality so sure that what he did was right in his head? I know his background. He was he felt like he was deceived from the military via the government sort of way.
And he was very, very mad about Waco.
Mad about Waco. Very, very indignation with that as well. Right.
Yeah, he felt like they needed to get their lick back, and he was the one to do it. He also was a cataclysmic event, the diaries type guy, so he thought he was going to set it off. But that aside, like, he felt like they needed, like, the Branch Davidians needed to be avenged to a certain extent. He got it in his mind, like, he just got dead set on, like, lone wolf type activity, and he felt like he was justified, but Terry Nichols reacted in a completely different way.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting how this guy didn't even have, like, a moral reason to do this. Like, I don't think he's going to be able to, like, look back and go, like, I was justified in that shit.
Right.
So I think he's going to come to regret it, and just be like, what was I thinking? Maybe he could use this story when, if they don't give him the ultimate penalty, maybe he could use this story to encourage other people to, think before you do this. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if he's even ever going to be able to explain what was going through his mind in the days leading up to this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people describe it being this like euphoric, like disassociation, where they're not even like, they don't even feel like they're themselves. Like they're just out of it. They're like some like the mind is just on autopilot.
Yeah. That's a good description.
So
of that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very strange, and so I hope that this could, at the very least, snap some people out of it. Because a lot of times these big events, when they get a lot of publicity, they kind of take the pressure off a little bit because people are like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." Yeah. Oh no!
Hopefully it does that. Unfortunately for there is a population that when their feet finally come down to the ground, they're like, what the fuck did I do?
Yep.
This guy seems like they're uncovering a little bit more about his history here. He doesn't seem like a stable dude. I mean,
right.
Say the very least in the first place. But maybe I'm just an old school dude. I just like, how does it get here? And in person, these guys will never say anything, and this is just a tunnel vision. After he felt a certain way, he felt like he had to act and go and do that. That is so stupid.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just unreal. It's unreal. You're taking your life away. You took 2 people's lives, and you're throwing your own away over some YouTube bullshit.
Yeah. What an idiot, man. So,
but like I said, like those consequences, that's out the window. When they're dead set to do something like this, they're not thinking about the day after. Like that shit doesn't even exist.
Is there any responsibility in any of these devices, the social medias, or any of these platforms, or anything like that, you think?
That's a tough call, because I don't think so. I mean, I think, if we were to hand, you know, I mean, I'm just thinking about the First Amendment, and like, although these are corporations, it's private, you know, they can't abridge the First Amendment, yada yada. I get that, but when we hand over more and more control over to sort of centralized, you know, groups that are with a way out of arm's reach of us, that things can kind of get weird. I think that that's the sort of like what's the benefit and what's the cost at that point? You know, if we give them more and more control over like regulating content, because like so stuff like this won't happen. You know, it's just kind of like how much trust are we going to put in them for our own good?
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, they already do ridiculous stuff. Like, there's a video I wanted to watch about the movie Heathers. Like, it was commentary on the movie Heathers from whatever, 1985 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And a warning popped up that it was viewer discretion advised, and I had to confirm. This was on YouTube. I had to confirm I wanted to watch this because it might induce self-harm.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm a 44-year-old woman. You know? Yes. I clicked on the video. I want to watch it. Now stop, you know? So...
And if it is for the purposes of blocking harmful content to unsuspected people or minors, like, that's it?
Right.
That's their curtain before, you used to go to these VHS stores, and before you go to the blue section, it was separated by a curtain. You knew not to go. Like, that's it?
Right. That too. You know, so it's like, how much, if they really want to start policing us, I mean, it could get really sticky, because like, who's going to write those rules, you know? And then also, you know, I think the government's been leaning on social media, and I think they've been successful to a certain extent to be able to monitor and get and mine, you know, social media for tips and, you know, like possible dangerous persons leads and shit like that. You know,
it is tough, but I look at it in a way like, so I lump a lot of these things together. So even look at students in school who aren't doing their work anymore. You know, cheating has been evolutionized, right? With this Chat GPT.
Oh yeah.
Nonsense. We're finding out, you know, kids are unaliving themselves depending on their social media status and whatnot. But no study is done. Nothing is put into writing, or no laws or restrictions are created before releasing these devices to kids or to the public, for the matter. I personally think there should be some form of responsibility instead of just being like, here, do what you want.
Yeah.
Because everybody says, there hasn't been any technology out there that has been invented that also hasn't been created for evil, that has been used for evil, right?
Right.
We know that people find, no matter what the intention is for these things, people use it for some evil shit. I mean, that's the villain arc for everything that we know. Like for every movie, every superhero movie, they get whatever it is, and then they find out how to control it, contain it, and sell it off, and for evil.
Right.
So how?
Well, and I think we could just think of we could think of like evil in terms of like, I mean, I think there's more mundane, like, you know, the evil of the mundane evil that we all live with, you know, the sort of the evil, the banality of evil, you know, like how as it's just as dangerous, I think, for parents to feel like, you know, or guardians or even teachers or whatever, people who are interacting with young people, to feel like, you know, like, well, you know, I was tired this evening, and so I don't have to interact with my kid because they got their phone. You know, and so like that sort of starts the arc of, you know, the hooked on the phone type thing. But like, that's the sort of thing that, like, I think we have to kind of group that in. It's like, how much are we abandoning people to social media? You know, because then that way we don't have to mess with them. We don't have to like worry about them, because it's like, oh, you're being quiet right now. You know, just go in the corner, you know, mess with your phone so I can do like my shit that I want to do, right? And so, And
Then
I
you
think that
say
could be
all
just
this.
as bad. That might be just as bad as like the kids bullying each other, because I think they kind of tied. They're sort of connected.
I think that the issue is that the parents that purchase the devices don't know how to use the devices parental how to monitor and put parental locks on the device itself. And so there was a time where the devices, the phones and the iPads and all those things now have all those things. Like, for example, when kids have a Facebook account, you're not, when you're under the age of 13, you're not supposed to have a social media account at all. But when you're over 13, you have a social media account. You don't get commercials. Kids, my son didn't get commercials until he turned 18. But a lot of parents will give their kids the adult, use their birthday or whatever so they can have access to things that they think that the kid, they want to control the type of things the kid is restricted from seeing. But some, like, back in the day when parents let their kids play Grand Theft Auto, there are some parents that let their young kids play it, but you remember you have to be an adult to purchase it. So there are parents
True.
that don't live with those kind of restrictions, and then there's parents that do, and so it makes it challenging because there needs to be kind of like an education where parents kind of understand what is really truly harmful to their kids and what's the impact of that harm over time. And then it's hard because some kids are used to seeing stealing, um killing outside. Grand Theft Auto is nothing to them.
Yeah.
See what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's kind of like a catch 22.
Yes, I believe that also. But the other thing is the technology is moving so fast that by the time you regulate what is now, it's already past tense, right? And these kids, before the restrictions are there, already found out ways around it to get whatever they want technologically or digitally.
Well,
So
you
go ahead.
really can't get around those parental locks, but those kids get so angry. I seen a kid, not to cut you off like that,
Mhm.
but I seen a kid getting angry there and put his hands on his mom, beat his mom, and tore up her whole house over the phone.
Okay.
So it's like, all I'm gonna do is deactivate the service. Like, I'm gonna go online. I ain't gonna take the phone from you. You just don't have service anymore.
But seriously, how would that kid get back on though? Can't like a friend put him on? Somebody else's parent put them on? An older brother, sister, cousin?
Yeah, that's possible. But them phones are expensive too. So,
Yeah, but there's people with money that'll do that though.
yeah,
You
that's
know? So I understand that we have these preventions and things as well, Lorna says. Yeah, I get it. We have some committees in order and they're backed up by some people as well, but it's not working. It also is not working.
And there's some really insidious things, like when we start doing, legislating parental control or legislating, like, age restrictions and things like that, having to prove your age to access certain websites and things. That gets really, really sticky really fast.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
there's no real good way to do it anyway. And so, like, it puts a real burden on everyone, and so it's like, and then where does that information go? Like, who's checking this? Who's regulating it? And then you always think about, like, there's going to be certain content that if there's a blanket legislation that applies to all, internet, whatever, social media, there's going to be certain content that is going to be the target of that. They're going to feel the brunt of it more than other like acceptable quote unquote types of content. Like the adult type stuff is going to feel the brunt of it. Gay and lesbian type information sites are going to feel the brunt of it. The things that the greater society has always targeted for censorship, they're going to feel the brunt of the age restrictions, and so it's going to really be another means for really, like public and government to silence, sort of uh, unpopular content, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, they do it in other countries because, like in like the Middle East, you can't FaceTime over there. There's certain they do it like somehow, but we are a freer nation, and
Yeah.
there's no cohesiveness really here. But
Well, like,
see,
oh, I'm
they
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be better about that.
no, it's okay. No, in those I'm just saying those other countries they regulate, but they got that new thing called Real ID. And people are not seeing it. Like it ain't that a lot of that is going to be a thing, and a lot of people are not paying attention to that one government entity, and they're not paying attention to the real ID. So they got ID me, and they got real ID. And when everybody starts moving towards that way, they'll be able to, they already could track you with your phone. It's already a beacon. It's already a tracking device. But yeah, they're gonna be able to track people. They ain't gonna even need the sensors anymore. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, it's probably a thing, or will be a thing. I mean, it's one of those concepts that you see that it seems like it's so far off in the future, but it's
It's not.
definitely a possibility. But what between these nations that you're saying, I like that you said that yeah, what are we? We're the free nation, the advanced nation and whatnot. Is that capitalism that takes away these restrictions from its citizens that now allow um
That's us. We're
right,
more of
right,
a capital, nation than they are, and so that's what makes it that way.
right.
We
Well,
want to make money by any means necessary.
Yeah.
well, and
And
I think also we have a First Amendment in the Constitution. Like, we have a constitutionally enshrined freedom of speech that is, but most other nations on Earth don't have like a First Amendment type. Um, uh, what am I trying to say? Type language in their constitution. Like, it's statutory for them if they have it. It's statutory. Like in Canada, it's statutory. In most parts of Europe, it's statutory. It's not a constitutional right. And so, like, we have a different sort of history of the legal system in terms of freedom of speech that it's very hard to abridge it in this country. But they're chipping away at it to a certain extent. Like here in Texas, we have a parental control kids. It's like a Kids Rights Act or something. It's I forget the acronym, but they are making certain websites that deal with, like, things that are age regulated.
mhm,
The websites have to have a robust system of keeping children off those websites, right? But there's no real good way to do it. Like, there's no sort of way that is ensured to work. And so some of those sites are blacked out from Texas. Like, you can't access them. Like,
mhm,
they're basically like, we can't serve you anymore, Texas, because we don't know how to comply with your laws. And if we continue to serve y'all and we don't comply by accident or by intent, then we're going to face the brunt of y'all's legal system. So, like, they're just like, there's certain, the PH website, you cannot access it here in Texas because they could not figure out how to abide by the age restriction law, and so it's just blacked out. And so, that's sort of the downside to those things, that, like, when the government steps in and is trying to regulate this stuff, you also have to deal with just the practicalities of it. Of, like, how do the content producers abide by these restrictions without getting targeted, without getting, indicted, without, and so that we, to the extent that, like, they're self-censoring to the point that we are being affected in our ability to access content.
Yeah.
yeah. I definitely hear a couple things here. I see Lorna putting something in the chat, kind of ties into what you're saying. So in Japan, they passed a law that if you insult a person in social media, they track you down and they could fine you. Happened to a Japanese athlete for the and couldn't go to the Paris Olympics because of it. Now I think a couple things with that. I think governing this whole who's going to do that is the first thing, right? To be able to track these people down, because although you can have these programs that track certain words and stuff and bring it to the forefront of anybody who's governing it, it may still not be enough, because so many things are going out on so many different platforms that we need somebody to govern that as well. Oh, excuse me. Other than I might have to go grab a drink in a second. Than just doing that. So that's good. And that's also accountability. But on what part is that accountability? Is that the part of the makers, the actual social media? Now, are we leaving this up to the government? Another entity where tax dollars are going to go towards to pay for this sort of thing too?
And who decides what an insult is?
Ooh. Wow. And that.
Right.
And that.
I mean, because if it's a public figure, you're saying, like, I don't like the way he voted on the last, bill in front of him. Like, did you just insult him? I don't know.
You just see what this is saying. In Japan, they have social media police, social media police, which now they need more funding. They need stuff to be able to monitor and get these complaints as well. Although that is an official authority, how would tax-paying citizens react to, we need to fund this department now? That's another thing that I don't find is fair to your average citizen to be. And I think one of the solutions is, before the rollout of these programs, of these apps, of these social media, they need to do the studies on the effects of the people. So there was one thing that I think you were saying before, Stephanie, that I sort of forgot to address. A lot of these things, a lot of the freedoms, a lot of the parental stuff, but at what cost? What is the margin of the amount of people that lose their lives because of being, the cyberbullying and this and overexposure and a lot of the regret of stuff that they've done as well? At what cost to that so-called freedom do we have that we're initially just accepting? Like, this is, this many people are going to suffer, this many people are going to pass, this many people are going to go crazy, but we're still going to have your IG accounts because, I don't know, it's good business.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know how we can stop people from killing people, because even if it's not over Instagram, even if it's not over cyberbullying, we're going to find a reason. We've been doing this since the dawn of time.
Yeah. I hear that. That's fair. And maybe I'm not a fan of the social media stuff. Is part of my problem. And I do. I just think it's such. I've seen attitudes change. I've seen people emboldened from this thing as well. To me, it's way more harmful than it is good for anybody. And I'm like, I'm just a regular Joe that sees this. How could these? Well, if I ask the stupid question, how do these guys not see it? But then I think, the almighty dollar is the reason why they choose to ignore it. And
yeah, but at the same time, I'm going to drop down, but at the same time, we wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't know either one of y'all if it wasn't for social media.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's they don't have the manpower either. So it's not only that, they just don't have the manpower.
Okay. My mom just said I got to call, or else my dad's going to fall asleep. So I'll be back.
All right.
Bye.
All right. See you, Steph. Yeah, I don't know. This is an evil that I wouldn't mind if they took the whole thing away, just for the good of, people not running up on people. But I think that's a very valid point what Stephanie is saying. Like, it's not going to stop attacks. It's not going to stop hatred towards anybody either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That is a tough one. It's all bullshit, man. This is tough stuff. Hey, I need to go grab a drink from the kitchen over there. Can you hold it down for about 5 minutes or so?
Yeah, I can hold it down.
All right,
Hello,
take a
everyone.
break from working on your stuff and work on my podcast for a minute. I'll be right back. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Wow, last call went to go get something to drink. How's everyone feeling today? um, so as he was speaking about social media and about what was he talking about? The guy that actually killed or I'm sorry, I don't want to say that word, unalive that person. What do you guys think that do you guys think that he had mental health issues, and do you think it's going to come out that the guy had mental health issues? Because normally when stuff like this happens right away, they start pulling up like their social media stuff they said previously. Have anybody seen any information about his social media other than the fact that was he? They said the other guy. I'm not sure. I think I heard that the other guy, the other guy had more followers than him or something like that. I'm not sure. I have to do a little bit more reading. Emmanuel, thank you. So I'm not sure, but that's unfortunate. That's like one of the weirdest things here that in this space on the internet. What if someone's actually viewing a live stream and they just don't like what you're saying or your politics, and then they decide to take your life just because, or they're following you, or they're doing something like that? That's kind of like the scary part about being online. Oh, you think so? I remember seeing a guy that was from a sector adjacent to ours, and I'm not gonna say his name on this channel, but he did some crazy things when he was in Texas, and then in um, when he was in Nevada, he was like doing some crazy stuff, and he was like literally like part of this, and met up with some content creators. And after he met up with the content creators, I guess he wasn't on his meds, and he had a huge meltdown. So like the fear of just even trying to meet somebody on here is insane. It's crazy. I meant to say crazy. Yeah, it's definitely crazy. You have to basically, it's hard to vet people nowadays because you don't really know where their mental is. And then being that COVID happened and people were online, for a long time, and they were in their house, you don't know what type of unstable, how unstable they can be. But yeah, there is a lot of unstable people on this app. It wasn't like that. I remember when I was back in the day when we used to be online, we knew there was some unstable people, but you could kind of tell a little bit more. People had group meetings and stuff like that, but now, to try to be safe, go meet at a popular place or lighted place or something like that. And now you can't do that because the person don't care. They don't care if a camera's there. They don't care if they can be tracked. If they got it for you, they coming for you. But I just wondered, did the guy think he was going to kill the guy, or did he just see the guy and just saw red, or was he like, how premeditated was the guy? Like, was he online saying he was going to do these things first? I know I saw him in a car saying he was going to, you can't come to my city and I'm not pull up, So I saw that, but would he have pulled up? Was he showing out for the camera, or did he just take it too far? It's like I have a lot of questions. So But if you are mentally unstable and you're watching this podcast, please get some help. Please talk to somebody, go see somebody. It's not worth it. You really don't want to be in prison, in jail in these days and times. Even though now I'm seeing that even in prison they have cell phones when they're not supposed to. So please get some help. Oh, they had a lot of back and forth for a very long time. Yeah, that's scary. I see that in the sector that I'm in. I worry that that might happen. I've heard occasions where people threaten to come for people, but it seems like they're oblivious. Like they're like, well, they really think it couldn't happen to them. Oh, okay. So he was into a lot of dress up and cosplay. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I hope it don't. I hope it don't get that far. You know. That's why I'm being a little playful sometimes with my content. Cause you know, what if somebody like, what if it's the opposite? What if that guy was so upset by the way this guy did him, and then send him a strike, and then he decided to no longer be here himself. Like, it's a catch-22 a lot of times because you never know.
That's a good question for that scenario. But then you still got to ask, where does that shit start? Does it start with him, like your own image of yourself? Who's responsible for that? At what point does it get to this? I gotta protect my being, who my ego, who I think I am, sort of deal. A lot of back and forth for a very long time. Even so, it's like, all right, online idiot. I've had some people in my comments that tried to rip me to shreds because they don't agree and that I recognize as trolls. That's one of the things I got to work on. I recognize that there's a demographic that just all they do is talk shit. It's not even about making a valid point. It's just about, I'm going to throw some negative energy this way for no particular reason. And I guess in my earlier days, I'd follow them down that little rabbit hole. Nowadays, I'm just like, fuck that. You don't agree, you don't have to engage. This is the last one I was like, I use the community guidelines. I was like, you insulted me for no reason. So you don't insult the person. Go again. I forgot the wording, but it's like, argue the points, not against the person. I was like, you did that, mofo. So I'm like, I don't need to talk to you after that.
That's funny.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna like, there was a time where there was way more trolls. And I think now what's happening is like, I used to tell the troll, I say, you know what? Come back, I'm going to block you. Come back with your real name. Come roast me with your real name. Like, I ain't got I need to be able to respond. I don't know who this is. So you know more about me than I do. So
Right.
Then I know about you. So let me let you be great somewhere else.
Right. And on top of, there's no need to be hostile like that. There was one guy, he came on early when I started to do this podcast. What's up, information man? Good to see you, my brother, man. Thanks for coming by, man. We were talking about the Vegas shooting. We're still a little bit into that conversation as well. Yeah, just to get so bothered. So I had this one guy who, he was actually in the chat for a little while, but on one of my videos, he just got real negative. He said something like, this is really stupid, blah, 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 blah. After I felt we had a pretty good connection in the chat. So I wrote him back like, what's up with the hostility, man? Say what you feel like saying towards the point. He quickly apologized. It's like, he he claims he didn't know that he came across like that. And I was like, all right, whatever. And then I didn't hear from him forever. He actually tried to come back and be like, hey, what is this thing? But I recognized the name like right away. I was like, it's you, dude. And then but which is no big deal to me. Come back, chill out if you want. But I don't know. I don't know what kind of weird. And then I'm saying I don't know what kind of weirdness that is, but you don't know who's behind whatever computer. You could be, I realize you could be fuming, pointing at your computer, yelling and be like, but it could be to a 15-year-old for all you know.
Exactly.
You know, it's just
exactly.
like
somebody that's like, especially in our sector, somebody that's like in a wheelchair, bedridden, don't leave the house, and you're over there arguing.
And this is all they do.
Yeah.
This is all they got going on.
Yeah, they do that.
You know what I'm saying? So, right, you got to remember not you, but I have to remember it's not really my thing. And not only just for that and mental health, it's because I'm also bad at it. I can't battle anybody digitally because I'm just bad at it. You know?
Yeah, and you don't do things that you're not good at. So
No.
I know. Listen, I know somebody that's just like that. They don't argue because they're not good at it. This is like, I'm just not good at it, but I want to argue back. No, I'm not good at
I could argue. I'll argue.
I know you can, but I'm just
you
saying
got me on the digital front of the going back and forth, and as soon as I press send, you already got another message coming up. I'm like, God damn, let me breathe for a second, man, before I get my get back happening over here. But
yeah, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. You better write me in little sentences. Like if you're gonna go at me, it better be like a sentence at a time. I'm gonna tell you why. Because if I read the first sentence and I see a whole paragraph and you start like cussing at me or telling I'm not reading the rest. I'm not even listen, I gotta protect my peace. Not us both can be angry.
I've seen I've seen that with your alter ego, by the way, YM. She had some things posted on her. She posted something and somebody attacked her just on some bullshit. Paragraphs.
Yes,
like, God damn. Take it easy. And then there's some people too, like the frauding charlatan. I wouldn't argue with him. He writes a book on whatever the fuck the situation is. He'll respond to you in a book where forget responding. Like, I don't even want to read the whole thing when he goes against somebody like that. Thank God I don't even know half the time or more than half the time whoever's arguing any. So it doesn't really matter to me anyway. I'm just kind of reading it for entertainment. I'm like, oh, look what he dropped or look what she dropped. And then but there's a lot of people who are writing a lot of stuff, and I think part of that is also you're getting a taste of, hey, if you choose to go forward with this, this is just a taste of what I'm going to do to you, and then you continue to do it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think like at some point, to me, what happens to me is it's hard for me to keep that same energy because I'm like, in my brain, I'm arguing with air. Like I'm thinking to myself, like it's like I'm arguing with someone online and I have my shoes off. Like I'm in shorts. You know what I mean? Like
that is funny.
I got my pajamas on right now. Like I'm arguing with you with my pajamas on. Okay.
Yeah, it's
and then you take that energy with you when you go to bed too, because you don't.
Yeah, you go to sleep with it.
Yeah, you can't settle down. We're not little kids. Kids, they'll cry till they cry themselves to sleep, but you can't argue yourself to sleep. I mean, you can get wore out. But see, what a lot of people don't understand is that there's gonna be a whole big population of people with high blood pressure because arguing does that. Give you high blood pressure.
The social media is like you're right, it never ends, because if you look at a lot of those things, you see it's edited in the post, like they're going back and crystallizing their thoughts. It's like walking out of a room, coming back and be like, and another thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then here's the worst part about it. What if the person doesn't come back and see the edited version? So like you edited it, and then who are you editing it for? Are you editing it for the audience? Or are you editing for the person you think, listen, you didn't cuss me out in a post, right? Well, let me go back and see let me read that again. Oh, they didn't change something.
Let me tell you.
You're asking for punishment. Like, you're literally setting yourself up for failure. And
in my earlier days, I didn't even know that there was a back and forth. You know how I got into leaving the comments? One time, so when I started reading newspapers online, I didn't know that there was a comment section on the bottom that you could do. So, I would read the article and just have my little 2 cents on it. Like, hey, I don't agree, blah, 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 blah. And people would just fucking slam your opinion, your spelling, your punctuation. You're just like, God damn, people, And it took me a while to know that's what the YouTube or this Reddit or any social media, that's what it's somebody posting something and then a bunch of people going back and forth, either supporting, going with the grain, or you're that one individual that didn't go against it. And then you get all of a sudden these goodwill people, right, who are bullshitting. They think they are good people by patting whatever it is on the back and going along with that. Like, it erases all the bad things they've done in their life. And that when somebody comes along, they like to just shit on this person, man. So I getting into this YouTube thing, leaving, and then you get argumentative on top of that. You're like, you're not going to insult me, and then you go back, but they're already prepared to go back because this is what they do in their life.
Me, on the other hand, is that what IG does, right? If you ever download IG, if you comment under a post on IG, right, there's a ton of people will respond to your post. And you start getting notifications. So now you're in the back and forth because you're responding to what they said. And it wasn't like that before. It used to be where you just made a comment and just kept it going unless you wanted to go back and read the comments. So now that's probably how people get in a lot of back and forth. Because I remember when I first came into this space, I was on like Umar Johnson's channel, right, a lot. And so what I was doing was I was commenting under the people who were making comments, because I thought, I would say something. Like, I would comment on the video and then I would leave. That was it. And then they would comment and go against what I was saying, because I was only commenting on the video. So I'm like, why are you caring about what I think? So now I'm in the back and forth with you, because I'm like,
yes,
okay. Like, and so I think a lot of times people like to insert their opinion in what you're talking about,
And I think these are people that wouldn't even like speak up at a meeting at work or something like that, like where it's really needed.
Yeah.
Like, I think it creates that sort of culture too, because I work around people like that who I'm like, why did you say that at the meeting? Like, what the fuck are you telling me? I can't do anything about it. You got all these people that talk behind closed doors, but you look like the shit disturber when you're at the meeting. Like, we also have a problem. People are supporting you quietly, and these are the people that don't say anything when it's needed. But behind closed doors, they are the fucking man behind that. I think it creates that sort of culture too, and it goes a little back to why I think it's important to have that vocabulary. Why it's important to have that vocabulary and really think about what you're trying to say and how you say it versus, dancing around. And that's what I appreciate, the concise thoughtful speech versus the you're just rambling or you don't have anything to say. Perfect how you say things for in the time when it's needed. You know what I'm saying? What you got to do. Hey, you want to do something here? Let's spy on somebody. You want to spy on somebody?
Yeah, let's go ahead and spy.
All right. Let's spy on somebody. We know this person, by the way. So hold on for a minute. Let's see if he's going to let us on the show. Hang on. We're going to do this. You see that in the background? Are we over there yet? Oh, no, you can't see anything yet. Hang on. Let's cause a little trouble over here. I don't know what they're talking about.
That was real.
Hold on, folks. This is the first time we're trying this.
That seemed real before us, but not
Is it a chat?
Oh, you was that
Hold on. See if
low frame.
No in here.
Mm.
Oh, I don't think I get comment. Hold on. Oh, it's not gonna let.
Oh,
damn.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do this, Joe?
You have to comment. You have to comment from not this screen,
So you can check
but
the
the
chat, but
scroll down.
This is the
It's not even. It's not letting me do. Oh,
right.
There it is. See right there, the chat.
Ah,
There it is.
This
That's
is a person that I made up in my head.
keep laughing.
Is that a real person?
If it is, it's from Norfolk. It's from the Norfolk days, not the ODU
So this
days.
wasn't one of them. Okay, never
We
mind.
are live too.
Okay, so no,
But okay,
this is not who I was thinking of.
back to the
Go ahead,
wisdom.
say your story.
Okay,
I got
So,
you
within,
on my
I could say
live
that's all my fault. On 100%
right now.
in totality, I was too young to realize what I was being offered at the
Oh,
time.
there's Kimberly.
And
Kimberly
if I would
done
have had the
switched
mindset of
and Black
older man
Anonymous.
at that point, I
How
would
dare you?
appreciate it. But
Ooh, can I
due
add
to
an
the
extra one to mine when y'all both done?
oh yeah,
All
definitely.
right, let's turn them on.
But
Are they coming through on mine?
lack of emotional intelligence or emotional awareness or just personal accountability at this stage in my life, early 20s, I wasn't even focused on none of that. You feel me? I was all about me and using
They don't even
anybody
have a
around
link.
me, and I can realize that
They didn't even put a link for
now.
anybody.
That was
That's rude.
a big fallacy in myself.
They put a link me up.
And
Link
then
me
I
up.
was not aware of those things, regardless of how many times this person continued to come back. At a certain point, I had to tell that person, "No, this
We're
got to
crashing this live.
I'm just doing anything now. Like,
Are we crashing this live?
no, like if you don't see this, I see it."
Yeah, when I feel that
We're
bad about
crashing
what I'm
this
doing,
live.
we at
All right.
Yeah, even like
He responded.
I know you see it, but you
You see that?
oh well, okay. No,
He's big,
that ain't
bro.
okay. You gotta warm up on your belt. It's
Sorry
like,
for
at some point,
encroaching
I
on
feel
your
bad about
night,
doing
but
this
this
shit
is
because
this
you're not
week is
saying nothing.
hectic for us.
That's what
But,
happened.
oh, he put the link.
It
Oh,
was
this is
like,
gonna be
all
funny.
right, man,
So, I mean,
Let me see. Hold on. This is too much. This is too much technology for me right now.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me see if this works. I hope I don't get cut out from ours. Put me on here. Oh my God, it's working. Am I still on the other one?
Mm-hmm.
What's up? Oh, I put myself on mute.
You put
Sounds like
yourself.
we're doing something very serious.
It's funny.
I allowed you to move into our domicile, letting you dig roots, not just with me, but also then jointly as a crew. So she dug our heels in to the crew further. You feel me? So your manipulation tactics got to go in further. So and I allowed that. So I take that further blame 70-30 right there because regardless of what you did, I gave you the opportunity. It was a lack in myself to be more aware to see what you were doing, even though I had the red flags all there. So I have to, at this point in my life, being 42, I got to look back and be like, damn, you were stupid. You seen this, but you still allowed her to move in. So okay, 70-30. So let's move forward because we just
All
had
right,
that two
might
or
have
three
to
real
leave
shit,
him.
3 or 4. So we move forward. So I give it back a 50-50 because we're both doing dumb shit. We're both
When
aware of
Peace is
dumb shit,
preaching,
but we're not being vocal and letting
I
each
don't know
other
if we
know,
can
okay, this is
interrupt
what I
the.
know, this is what you know. Let's have just have an agreement and just be the young adults that we are because we ain't full grown yet, but we still young adults. Let's be honest with each other at least
Is
and
this
move
at the
forward amicably.
intervention time when me and my ex was trying to like
Look at the manual. Ah! Manual went in the room.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
As we go forward, I think around this time we're
I
living
can
in.
see him down there.
I've moved into Richmond. I'm down here in Richmond
Said,
living. Okay.
we at the front door,
So
Tiz.
at this
Let
point,
us
I'm
in.
saying it's about a 55-45.
Here you go. You up there.
Because I'm trying, but I really ain't trying because I'm still doing shit. But I'm putting on on a facade that I'm really trying. So when I'm at home with you, I'm trying. But when I'm out in the streets, I'm just out in the streets. But the whole time, I know when I'm out in the streets, you at home in the streets. You feel me? But I just can't put it. I can't put my finger on it. But I know
We
it's
got
going
one.
on. I can't put my
We're
finger on it.
being
And at this
serious.
point, we separate, and I move back down to the 7-5. And right here, I go back to taking 100% totality because one of the coldest things I've ever been told is
All right,
ever
I'm
been
gonna
told
mute
me.
him down a
You feel me?
little bit.
I called you at one of the lowest points in my life,
Let me see what I can
and
here.
at that point, it was the closest thing like that I had known of love, even though it was a tumultuous relationship. But it was the closest thing through a romantic love. You feel me? So
it was real.
so
All
when I
right, I might have
called
to
and I was
cancel.
like, "Hey, this is going on with my family. I'm
I
out.
don't want to block
You know,
him. They're doing
I ain't got nowhere to go.
serious
But
stuff.
I got this amount of money. I can give you this. I know I'm about to get a job in Richmond right now. You can split all the bills you got right now, and I can just come move back in with it." No, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you just need to go ahead and
All
move back to the
right,
7-5 with your brother, and you figure it out
we'll
from there.
try him back.
Oh damn!
We're current.
I never knew that
We're,
part of the story. I knew you called me, but I didn't know it was like a piece of that. With
All
oh shit,
right,
yeah. So
we'll be
this is
good.
my thing. We're currently in a
bro, had you
relationship.
told me that, a lot of conversations
If
would
they
have
call us
been
back,
different
if
today.
they call us back up, we'll
No
go
man,
back
no,
to
come back
invade
through, bro.
the
I
spot over
made
there.
their I made their channel.
But that could have been some fun stuff. You know, usually they're talking about different things, but if Face is going off about something, you
Yeah, he
know,
talking about
important,
something.
we can't interrupt that. Just said, I'm not letting you in, Ninja. You play too much. I feel like that was the message. I feel like that was the message of that too, man. That is
Yeah.
hilarious. Oh well. Oh well. We'll try again. Maybe they'll lighten up, and maybe we could do a cross training Tiz top 3. Let me go type that in for him. Maybe we can do joint Tiz top 3. All right. See what he says with that. All right, we'll move on in the meantime.
I got a good 20 minutes left.
A good 20 minutes. How long have I been on this thing? All right, 20 minutes. We could do 20. Hold on, finish drinking. I sprayed some major raid in this place after I saw a caterpillar. I think it was a caterpillar. I don't know what the hell it was. I saw this new insect that I've never seen today, ever. I'm calling it a caterpillar. I don't think it was. It was like a hairy centipede, alien-like thing that I've never seen before. And
Really?
I had to spray down my house, and I would imagine this stuff works because I've been coughing ever since. Crying out loud. All right. Oh, where? Oh, this guy. He says, "Let's go. I've never done any of this, but I like it. Tap in and let us know."
I'm not letting
All
you
right.
sneeze it.
Okay. So he wants to try again. All right. Let's. This will be a good way to spend the 20 minutes. So hang on. Let me get back in there. Do. Check. Oh, no, not yet. Check.
For middle, the V days was coming to an end, but you were still with S, and then from you was with
This is
S,
going to be revolutionary,
you was
folks.
up in the 804,
Up here.
and me and Pat was running wild, and me, Pat,
This is
Jules,
going to be
Scoob,
revolutionary.
we was out there acting still at school. So yeah, this would be about,
Hold on.
if you talking about that time, we talking about like 04.
Let me
What's
make
good,
sure you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Real quick, go ahead, let us know what you thinking, man.
Yeah, I
Can my
can.
people? Oh, right. We're all hearing each other. All right. This is some neat stuff. Can you hear me? What's up? What's up? Partners in the house. Everybody. Hey, and first of all, Face, Pat, this is your first time on my podcast. Shamefully, you've never come to visit me ever, man. What the hell?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. That is a damn shame. That is a damn shame. 'Cause I was just on your page. I was just on your page yesterday, looking at your content, and I was just
Yes, that
thinking
was
to myself,
yesterday.
damn. I had just saw my brother jump on riding shit. What was it, yesterday when he had his ride?
You,
And I was like,
you.
reading shit. And I saw you on there, and I was like, I went to your page. I was like, you know what? I need to get my ass and make some time to jump on here and at least make myself, at least
You should.
my voice heard. And
I'm
I
You
still
definitely
here.
should.
want to do that. So I'm gonna make time to do that because I do feel like I should reciprocate the amount of time you've given us.
Face especially, he be having some conversations that I think you would really be into. Like I think you would be tailor made for some of the like
I
thoughts
think
that
so
he be
too.
going into and the way he be attacking certain things. I think you would love it. So yeah, pull up, bro.
Well, damn right there,
We
damn
gotta
right.
tap in with the
But
poor father, man. We gotta make sure we show support, man. Support.
No, we didn't. So Phyllis,
So at this point, when she
Did you
made that
catch the
decision,
topic? Did your people catch the topic last talk?
no, we didn't.
All
All
right,
right.
so I want to make sure we know what we're talking about, so that y'all can
go ahead,
kind
go
of
ahead.
understand where Face is going as he's explaining.
All right.
The first topic of the night is: has
Ugh.
there been a failed relationship that you look back on and take more or less accountability in the downfall of now that you're older? So you're looking back at your relationships from the past. It's open. We're looking at it more from the romantic relationships that we had. So that's kind of what we're going through. But it's really just over. It's just like, are there relationships from your past that failed, and you either realize, okay, I was
Ooh,
more
lordy.
accountable than I should have been
Uh,
at that time, or I was less accountable than I should have been, and why or why not? What's those factors?
lordy.
Okay, so
A little wordy, but yeah. As Faith is explaining, you'll
mhm,
kind of catch the concept.
okay. So to continue when she made that decision to tell me to call my brother and just not support me as I supported you through going to school, through you not having nobody, through you living with me
Right now,
when
I'm
you had
trying to
somewhere to go.
have this software
And I'm just
cut
asking you
this
to
track
return the
for me,
favor in my actual
and
time of
it's
need.
taking
That
forever.
when I was in Richmond, you
That's
didn't
what's
need
going
it.
on.
It was there. You just took advantage of it. Cool. Now I'm down in Norfolk. You're in Richmond, long distance. At this point, there's a separation. We disconnect. Now, at this point,
Okay.
I show no. In my mind, there's no accountability for me.
Hmm.
They still talking?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm saying it's 90-10 for me because regardless of whatever red flags I knew to be there, I still went with an emotional feeling and let my brain not lead me because I knew I was making a bad decision by getting back with this person. But regardless of what past was, I was still looking, okay, this might be. I'm saying I'm gonna change. This person saying they're gonna change. But in reality, I know I ain't changed shit.
Okay.
So I don't know why I thought or was making myself think this person would change shit.
I think Josephine wasn't hearing properly. Joe, are you able to hear?
I can hear it now a little bit.
Did you hear anything that Faye said?
I can hear him talking, but it's low.
Okay,
Now
I
I
don't
can
know if
go
that's a
over
setting.
there.
How about chat? Did you hear all of what Faye said? Should have. Okay, I don't know if that's a setting. How about chat? Did you hear all of what Faye said? Should have. I got you, Face. If I just want to check if my chat. I got you, Face. They should be. They should be. I feel like they are.
Are they able to hear us on your stream too?
Emmanuel let me know in a second if everything's coming through.
I've never done this, but it sounds cool.
Okay.
But he's very low, so I think I know what the problem is.
Okay, yeah.
I just hopped on for a second because I just
But he's
realized.
very low, so I think I know what the
You say
problem
you
is.
did what?
I just hopped on his.
Okay, now I can hear it.
because I just realized what we're actually
Okay,
doing.
so I think I know
Yes,
what I might have
this is some monumental shit. This is the first in. I've never seen this.
Now there's gonna be
Okay,
I think I
on
know
a-
what I might have to do.
I've never seen
It's
this on a
working
live
on my
stream where
end when I
you
hop
have
on.
Now there's
different
gonna be
podcasts going at the same time.
is
and they
anybody
can
hearing
both hear each other.
doubles?
Like this is nuts.
Okay, that's
But
I'm
I
hearing
hopped
doubles.
live and
You
Is
hear
anybody
double?
hearing doubles?
I can hear
You're
it.
We
hearing
don't hear double
double
on our end.
because
On
you
No,
don't.
I
You're
don't.
hearing
on our stream
because
yard.
you're on both.
You say you do, Face?
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah, no, we don't hear doubles.
It might.
You're
So
hearing
This
double
is this
because
is
you
cool
have
as
both
shit. Boy, if
windows.
this
You
shit
have
actually
YouTube
works, that's
open
fire.
and your YouTube open.
See, if I hear it
So
like
you're
this, I'm gonna
in
Okay,
both
drive
the
places.
myself
sound.
crazy.
They say Emmanuel says, okay, the sound great now.
See, if I hear it like this, I'm gonna drive myself crazy.
The sound break down.
The
Oh, he
sound
said it sound great now,
Great now.
but then it
Yeah.
makes it rough for last call.
Let me see if there's
Last
anything.
call, mute yourself.
Okay.
Because
Well,
I think last call is hearing doubles in his headphones.
let me see if there's anything.
Last call, mute yourself on the
Okay. Well, if I
StreamYard.
mute myself, if I do
But
that,
then do they still hear us?
I can still
then-
hear them. I just won't hear
Let's
you.
see.
then
I'll
you
hear
won't be able to hear me. If I do
right, but
that,
I'll hear you on their platform.
Yo,
I think I know
then-
what you're saying.
A 1-2.
Then
A
you won't be
1-2.
able to
They
hear
won't
me.
be able to
hear
I
me.
like to introduce myself. I go back to the name bit.
We're
Marky.
gonna have to cut it out, guys. We might have to cut it out because what's happening is a delay, which guys we might have to cut it out. Now I hear it.
It don't
'Cause
work.
what's happening is a delay, which oddly I don't hear it, but now I hear it.
Do they hear us? And do you
Yes.
hear normally? Is the bit I
They
guess the
hear
biggest
because I
question
have a
is for
window
your
open.
comfort in their ability to actually.
The one that you see in the background. They hear because I have a window open is the one that causes the one that you see in the background echo for me. Is the one that causes it's more of an echo. It's more of a delay.
It's
echo
causing
for me.
distortion for you. On your, like
It's
what you
more of
hear.
an echo. It's more of a delay.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if
So you're
anybody else
hearing
is
it
hearing
on
that
one
delay.
end at one speed, and then at another end on another speed.
So I don't know if anybody else is hearing that delay.
Nobody. Well, I don't
Yes.
on our end because we only
Yes, I can
hear
hear.
you and our normal mics. So
And
we
Joe-
don't hear anything on our end.
Joe, you hear
Just-
you
Yes.
hear a repeat.
No, yeah,
Joe-
I hear the echo.
Joe, you hear a
Yes.
repeat. So you just heard that one.
Yeah.
Is she on
So
stream with
you
you
just
too?
heard that one. Yeah, she's on
she's
here.
on
She's on
his stream on the live.
Now, see, I can't hear her, but I do. I did hear her through
Yeah,
his
she's on
mic.
here. She's on
If
here.
she hops on this live, and then that way, and you just
Are you hearing a repeat in our audio, like what you're hearing from us, or what you're hearing from your end last call?
From
From
an
your
open window. Let me try something else. This is the last thing I'll try, and then we'll break it up to because it's time. All right, check 1, 2. Tiz. All right, hang on for a sec. Hang on, everybody.
Stay where you at in the
Oh
story,
yeah.
because I want you to pick
Oh,
up
I ain't
right
going
there.
nowhere.
Okay,
my-
I want you to
Oh,
pick
I'm
up
right here.
right there.
All right, let's try again. I could hear me.
Okay.
All
Joe,
right.
can you hear me?
Yes.
No echo. Tiz,
No
you hear me?
echo.
We hear you loud and clear on our stream.
I think it's fixed. I think we got it.
Oh, look at you, tech guru.
Well, yeah, Josephine, you hear that?
Hey, you're gonna have to you gotta like email us a step-by-step guide of how to do this again, because this is fire. I've never seen somebody do this.
All right.
It
Well, a
seems
lot
like it
of it
would make
was
sense, but I've never seen nobody try it. That's
hey,
fire.
well, we're trying stuff, man. We're innovators. All right, now we
Hey,
got
man.
this.
Hey,
All right.
y'all need to go ahead and get with it and get this connection going so we can make this four-way joint happen too. Because if we can do shit like this would be the perfect way to do it. Like all four of us be on one thing, and then we just do it to the other ones,
This is dope.
and then everybody's content is like that would be just thinking ahead.
All right.
Everybody hear each other.
Yes.
Does your audience on your stream, did they hear the topic? I just want to make sure. So before Face continues,
I think
they
they're
actually
saying-
like got an idea of what he's saying. Okay, copy that. All right, Face Mob, jump on back in there, my boy. My bad.
All right. So, like I said, back in the store where we're at a separation. I'm being an OLM1, running these streets, doing whatever. And at some
Olem one is
point,
a one male hoe, everybody. Just so y'all know.
yeah.
All right.
You know, so I say this was a brief stint, probably somewhere right around 6 to 9 months. Then we get back together. And at this point, I take 100% totality and accountability for the failure once again in this part because I made a decision to get back with you and allow you to move back in again to my domicile, move you back into my apartment. You had a place in Richmond. Don't at this point, whatever your personal decision was, personal bullshit was going on, I should have still seen it as another red flag instead of moving you in to my place and putting whatever you had going on me. But at this point in my life, I did not because at that point in my life, I didn't have the how can I say the common sense to see what was going on. But hindsight is 2020. So move forward in the situation. I can say it moves back to 50-50 because regardless of you living with me, I'm still in the streets doing bullshit while you're still living in my house. But when you go out, you're doing bullshit. Once again, not this because at any point we can both be adults, which we are, and communicate the truth to each other. But we're failing to do that. Both being selfish and just want to be comfortable in the situation with each other because we know each other. We know what you're willing to do and what I'm willing to do and how far we're willing to do it. But we're still comfortable with each other, red flags, and comfortable with each other's bullshit. So it's a 50-50 thing. As it goes further, finances fuck up. You're not there for me. I'm not there for you. But I'm there for you more than you're there for me. So it's still 50-50. Goes back and we move back to Richmond. I give accountability more towards her because I felt like as a man at this point, I was doing what I needed to do and felt I needed to do to try to support my relationship because regardless of the bullshit I may have been doing, I was still in a quote unquote committed relationship where I had to play the part as a man and still try to provide to some point. And I've always had that driven in my head, not by no one else I can say, but by my own self that as a man, when you're in a relationship or you have that role, you play that part. There's certain things that you should be able to do or provide. So I've always been a worker, so I went to work, but it just so happened that I had to work overnight. So you were doing whatever you wanted to do while I'm at work. So this point failure goes towards you I say 60-40 because you're doing consistent activities that I'm blind to, but I shouldn't be blind to because I know all the red flags and all the markers and all
Boy,
the
this one
moves.
relationship is a whole soap opera, nigga. This is a screenplay. This is a
How
Tyler Perry movie waiting to
long?
happen. He could break this shit up into like 6 parts and have 6 different
But
movies. This shit is crazy.
it was long, so it was a long tumultuous ass, time in life, almost a decade. So shit, it did some time. But towards the end of the relationship, I gotta say it spanned more than 50-50, more close to 45-55. I'm gonna say my way. Just being the bigger man about it. There were certain red flags I should have just removed myself from, so shouldn't have to end as bad as it did. Um,
Story time with Face, the
the
condom story. Please look it up. You will understand exactly.
Yeah, because that was the total end of it right there. That was That was very traumatizing situation for me
Woo.
personally. For a while after that, yeah, that kept me away from any type of romantic situation. And it wasn't until I met my wife that I even had the shit. What's the word I'm looking for? The the thought. I just got to boil down to saying something simple. The thought of even wanting to be with somebody on that type of level because of how the last one ended. So yeah, I've learned that the lack of emotional intelligence and lack of emotional awareness can definitely lead you down a very rocky road in a relationship. But what's it, purposeful blindness, uh, not seeing shit on purpose when you know it's there, can also lead you down the road to failure in a relationship. It's about communication and being willing to communicate because the opportunities always present themselves to communicate. You just have to take the opportunity. I think that I wouldn't be as strong as a relationship I am now, and I wouldn't be the husband I am now without these past relationships and the lessons learned and me being able to look back on them and see where I was wrong. Um,
Hmm.
regardless of if I say somebody else is wrong or can always say vice versa and I was more wrong, whatever. But I know I can look back on these past relationships and know that where I was wrong and the shit I did wrong helped me to be a better person and growing up because I'm still growing up. I mean, shit, you'll never stop
Amen.
growing till you gone.
Amen.
So um, it's helped me grow to be a better person. And when I look back on yesteryear, I'm happy on the decisions I made, good or bad, because it was life lessons. And sometimes the life lessons you learn are not when you think you're going to learn them, or not in a situation you choose to learn them. It's just a lesson that you get out of them. And definitely in those two relationships right there, I've learned a lot about myself, how to treat people, what to recognize in people, what signs people show by just certain micro micro shit they do. The word is felony, but
Microaggressions.
it, there you go,
Mm.
there you go. Um, but like I said, it's me knowing and seeing the amount of accountability I did have in that time and seeing it now. Seeing it back then, shit, I was like, ain't nothing my fault. Shit, it is what it is. I didn't believe I had no accountability. I didn't take no blame for it. Regardless of who's hurt or what feelings were hurt, how many cried, how many tears was cried, how many whatever happened at that point in life, I didn't feel like I had no accountability. It was
So,
times where I felt bad for myself, but the term accountability never really clicked in. Emotional awareness never clicked in. But now I'm glad I can look back and see these things and see life lessons because the husband I'm becoming, the husband I am and I aspire to be are only because of what I used to be. So
um, got a question for you. Before that,
cool.
though, would you attribute a lot of that? You would say it's also immaturity. Would that be coupled with, you say accountability with that as well? Would you also characterize it as immaturity?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I feel like growing through certain relationships, uh, especially in our culture, failed communication from generation to generation. You go into a lot of relationships and grow through them being immature, both parties not knowing right or wrong, so you act like children because that's the only thing you know. Um, After hurt or after trauma, you grow to figure out, oh, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, and this is what I should be doing after trial and error. So definitely, it was a big, big immaturity was a big part of the decision that was made back then. Because if I was more mature after the first mistake, I would have never went back to that person. It wouldn't have been so many years and so much time put into that person. This person would have never been allowed to get so close to my family and my friends
Mhm,
if I was mature as the level I am now. Um, but putting physical desires and what I thought my heart wanted
mhm,
over
mhm, mhm.
correct thought got me to where I was at. But as I grew and as I got more mature, my mind started leading me where my penis wouldn't.
Mhm, mhm. Okay. Um, Emmanuel got a question. Was there ever a problem, or was there a problem with intimacy anywhere in the relationship?
Oh no, that was never an issue.
Okay. And I mean, that could be characterized another way. That's not necessarily of like you satisfying or her satisfying. It could be timing. It could be one wanting it more
Never.
than the other. None of that came up.
Never. No, the sex drive was always there. Sex drive on both parties was always there. The want and need part was always there. The opportunity was always there. Even when it was a long distance thing. Um, Pat can attest to this. We had no problem driving driving an hour or something just for an hour or something and coming back. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
me leaving from Hampton and going to Richmond in the middle of the night was nothing at the drop of a dime. So that was never an issue. It was just
Yeah, I'm driving an hour
greed.
for some coot noot back then.
Yeah, it was just a part of greed, and greed and access. At that point in life, it was very easy and accessible to get whatever and whatever and whoever I wanted to a certain
Last
point.
call.
So
Can I tell you a little context on this?
Yeah. Yeah.
At this age, we're talking we are between the ages of collectively 18 to 23, 22, 21, somewhere in there. So we're talking like those prime years. And in this time, in this space, it sounds crazy to somebody who wasn't there, but we were like rock stars in this area, like in a whole 7 city circumference and back home. Like we're talking access like it the level Allen Iverson could get in that particular space, we could in that particular time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like it was pulling up places, people just inviting you in for free. You go to a spot, you don't have to really worry about paying for drinks. Women are like crazy over you, and you ain't got an album out, a single out. You just a college student.
Right. Right.
But it was weird because it's Virginia, so it's like it's big city but small town, so everybody know each other. So once you get a
Hmm.
name, it kind of ring.
Hmm.
So like he's at a different level of access, and he's like the big bro of our crew at this moment.
Okay. Okay.
So like when people hear any of us, oh, that's Faye little brother.
Gotcha.
So he yeah, it's different.
Gotcha. Good night,
I just
Lorna.
wanted to put that
so
context
Good
in there
night,
because I
Joe.
know like some of that sounds like crazy when you're saying it, but when you put if you're there, it's like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. It's like, yeah, it's a
Gotcha.
Wednesday.
It's a
Gotcha.
Wednesday.
Gotcha. And Emmanuel's also saying, not necessarily physically, but I think you answered a lot of that as well. In terms of emotional intimacy,
Yeah.
I think in there you're admitting that you probably could have done a little bit more to be like more emotionally present in that
oh yeah, definitely I could.
situation. Yeah.
Definitely could have. Uh, I felt that now looking back, I wasn't emotionally present when I should be. I was only there during traumatic situations like a death. I was there, but on our day to day,
Mm.
your bad days, I wasn't there because on my bad days, I was more there for myself. But at a certain point, if you look back on my upbringing, I was raised more of the self-awareness principle. Look out for yourself first. If it ain't my brother or my close family, feeling like I got to look out for myself, especially when I'm out alone. Because in this situation, if it ain't my brother, I don't know nobody around me. So I'm looking out for me and him. Regardless if this is my romantic partner, I know what you're doing. So at a certain point, I got to look out for me more, even though I should be here for you at a certain point. So yeah, I really wasn't I really didn't know how to be emotionally aware then. So the concept wasn't even resonating with me because I didn't know what that was. So
Yeah.
if it ain't friends and family, I knew how to be aware for them and aware of my surroundings and aware for myself. But as far as being there for a partner and knowing when that person needed me, no, I wasn't there. The ability to offer help would only come in physical forms. It wouldn't come in, I can be that shoulder, I can be that ear. But what's going on with you, I can just sit here and listen. But now I can. And I see the benefit in it. So
I'll also say too, before last call shares his experience with his past relationship. Uh, I also just add, we were looking at this time like in the early 2000s, people didn't have these buzzwords and things that we could easily Google and look up and know that, oh, this is what I should be trying to strive for. Like we didn't have like emotional intelligence and emotional availability and trauma responses and all of these different terms that are like prevalent now as mental health gets more of a forefront. I think back then we're looking at a time where like everybody was kind of moving off of whatever the best lesson they got taught by their predecessors, whether it be their parents, their grandparents, aunts, uncles, their environment that they grew up in. And a lot of us dudes, especially my crew, I would say you had 3 out of the 5 that are actually raised by both of their parents, but the other 3 of us, or 3 out of the 6 that are raised by parents, and then the other 3 are like we're all single parent or like the parent that actually took the major job in raising us was one person. So there's different dynamics of that, but it's like we was kind of learning off each other. Like I would watch Face and Pat and learn like, okay, well they did this and that didn't work. All right, let me make sure I add that to my repertoire. So we had some kind of a, I guess, foundation going in, but we're learning as we go. So, and we're learning from other kids and late teens, early 20 young men that are our age. So it ain't like we got like an OG at this point. It's us. I'm learning from Face Pat, Chewy Jules, Cherry. They learning from me, and we all just kind of putting it together and piecing it. And I think that's the biggest piece of like how these relationships got messed up because we're looking back now as grown men who have learned these lessons. But at that time, it was, whew. Last call. Your relationship or a relationship that you can think of. What can you tell us? What was the level of accountability you took then, and do you take more or less now, based off of what you've learned over life? I think you're on mute, my brother.
Check.
Okay. Well, go ahead and you jump in then, Pat, while we wait on last call.
No, he here.
Oh, okay.
It sounds a little different. I don't know if you guys can hear me though.
No, you
We hear
sound
you.
good.
We hear you fine on our end.
Okay, good. So I thought I heard you say a couple things, and I'm glad you didn't say the most recent one, but let me think of a few things in general. I don't know if a lot of guys, actually, I don't think, this is an interesting question for a few reasons. I work with somebody about my age who doesn't quite seem to learn. He got divorced from cheating, and it's like he's never learned his lesson, And because we're about the same age, almost I think exactly the same age, and I encourage him, man, just fly straight, because in the end, that just doesn't work out for you. And he admits that he does wrong, I'd like to think a lot of the things that we've done is because of immaturity. I think for me, I've been in relationships where I maybe should have settled down, but it wasn't so much about settling down with the one person. It had to do a little bit more with I'm not settled here.
Oh,
I
yourself,
feel
you mean?
like I'm going to go. And in a few cases, I have gone to different states. I've picked up, I've moved around and felt
location.
very freed that I wasn't held down by a marriage or allowing myself to go that deep into relationships as well.
Familiar.
Right. At the same time, I would never lead anybody on towards thinking, because my mentality was, I'm going to have to leave. Don't get comfortable. You're going to have to leave. It had nothing to do about another woman or anything like that. One of the things I'd like to say is maybe way too prideful, as where, I thought I had to set up. I didn't have to compromise the way I thought. And I'm not a red pillar. I'm not like women should serve this, that, the other. I actually believe in a giving relationship, make everything you can to make your house a home, make her feel wanted. You're never going to have to open a door when I'm around. Car door, it doesn't even matter what the hell's going on.
Come on, preach
I
that good
still
word,
do, right. Like I still do that old school shit. As we're talking to a couple of my boys, they're like, I just do the unlock, even though even the door unlocks itself. Even the door unlocks itself. I'm still physically letting you in.
You're damn right, unless you tell me you don't want it.
Right, and closing it behind you, sort of deal. I'm running up before we go to the restaurant or the mall or whatever it is, and opening up. And I know
all that shit.
A lot of dudes don't do that kind of stuff, right? So those are just some of the mechanics that I do in the relationship. But I also I don't know, because I discovered another way of thinking, maybe through going to school and, getting my degrees and finding out how to listen better, finding out how to communicate better, so that if we are having a discussion, I'm not emotional with it. I'm hitting you with logic versus, the crying or the cussing or even raising my voice or whatever the deal is. I'm like, I'm sticking to this. But by the end of the so-called argument or discussion, I look like Chris Brown because you've been crying your eyes out, and all I've been doing is sticking to the same point. It's like this, so there's times like this where I know my logic is airtight, but I often wonder, is it about sticking to your logic? Is that a good win? Does this involve some sort of give and take just to make sure things run smoothly? Do you have to give away a win? Do you take an L just to make somebody else's life easier in your life?
I want to answer that question, but I don't want to cut Pat Wisdom. But I will say the fact that W's and L's even comes into it, right. I think that's the scary part.
Absolutely.
Of like, you're winning to win against the person that you're supposed to be with is like you beating your teammate.
Right.
Like, I don't want to beat you up in practice because I know we got a game Sunday. So I want us to both be fresh and be ready and be healed. And if you got a nick on your knee and if I elbow fucked up, I want us both have time to heal. I ain't trying to beat you up in practice. Like, we on the same squad. We working toward the same goal. So I think it goes to a lot of that young mentality that we all had as well, of just thinking of things in mine versus yours instead of we're now together. How do we make it? Yes, the team aspect. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And I think because I could be very honest, and I believe I peel those layers away. I have no problem breaking down walls and telling you who I am and how I arrived at a certain mentality with things. So I'm very about that us and ours sort of deal, where I find out for somebody to really live their truth. And I'm not talking about the bold, like I'm living my truth, blah, 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 blah. So I'm talking about who the fuck you are, what makes you tick, what hurts you. What are your flaws? Do you acknowledge them? I think we talked about this a while back before. It's very frustrating to talk to somebody about an issue when you have to peel back all these layers to reveal to that person who they really are. And then you have to come back to the issue in that mentality. A lot of people are not emotionally mature because they've never had that. We live in a society where people kind of just go along with it. Nobody calls each other out because it becomes combative. We can't call each other out without having that confrontation like, oh, motherfucker, you're calling me out? Or what about blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, I'm not even going that. I'm just saying, are you aware you do this when we go out? Like, nobody's told you that? And chances are somewhere down the line, somebody tried to tell them that. But at the time, they're trying to act like nobody's told me this about myself, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they did. And if not, I'm telling you that this is what it is. So I'm definitely not trying to paint myself as perfect or anything like that. But I've been in cases and not because of too much self-esteem where I've really had to examine who I am and how I come across to people. I had to hit that rock bottom truth about myself. So there's no fooling me. There's no fooling you when it comes down to it. I think if you live like that, it's very freeing. When you're honest with yourself, because when you lie, you gotta cover up the lie. You gotta conceal who you are. You gotta conceal why you did certain things and why you reacted a certain way. You got a lot of it. You gotta explain yourself, basically. And I'm not really for doing that. But anyway, I'm trying to stay closer to Face's question there with that as well. So I think part of me, I had that immaturity, but when I was very, very young, like in my teens, if I was in a relationship, I was very prideful in being true to that relationship, even if the woman didn't feel the same way because of her insecurities. And that always seemed like a thing. The more secure I was, it seemed like the more insecure it made the woman.
That's the thing.
I was gonna say I think it speaks to even piece of what you were alluding to before you made that statement of the general piece of if you never learned how to confront certain things and you are learning, those you encounter will be like you, where you're saying like, oh, we keep reaching the same place. Like, why aren't you getting this? Even goes back to the original statement you made to start your point with your coworker. Like, just we're repeating this cycle. You've been told this. We've broken down why, and you're still doing it. I think you can know why something is wrong, right? Like, I can know my carburetor is messed up and that's why my car is acting the way it's acting. But if I don't know how to fix it or I don't know who to go to, then I'm still going to be driving around with my car acting like people are going to be mad because they riding in it. They're going to be mad because they keep breaking down on us every time we try to go on a road trip. I'm taking them to work and we got to stop real quick because it's shut down and we got to do all these steps to get it to go. But if I don't have the resources yet, or I'm learning the resources, there's going to be a process. And I think that even when we're talking about Faith's question, to keep look back on relationships where we didn't have that toolkit that we have now to understand how to, like, and I think that's one of the scariest parts of hindsight being 2020 is you get to open up all of those wounds and see those flaws and see those areas of like, damn, I missed that. Yeah, in that moment I blamed this person and that person, but really it was, oh, I should have just made this better choice. And I think that's where so far, at least in the first 3 stories that we keep coming back to, of just like, even in these relationships where this person may have done something wrong, I had choices on my end that really were the leading to my downfall in it. I could have made different steps or increased my efforts or been there more emotionally or press the issue a little more on this or maybe step back a little bit more on this, and things could have looked different. But I think that's the part about growth, and even on the mental health, before Pat get into his story as well, just given when you look back on 2020 and your hindsight being that, and we look back on these relationships, I think the biggest key that we can give ourselves is to, one, yes, be accountable for those things, recognize those areas of growth, and then put steps to start growing, but also recognize you got to give yourself grace because you don't know what you don't know until you know. And most of us are moving blind like infants until we get more information. From the point we're born, we're always blind until somebody shows us light, and then we're like, oh, there's another way to do this. Oh, that is hot. Oh, that's going to shock me if I put a fork in it. Oh, I should not talk to her like this. Oh, I should not say this to him. Oh, and we're learning these lessons along the way, but until we learn that lesson, we are initially blind. So even if somebody tell you sometime, if you really don't, you have no reference point to base it off of, or you haven't reached and you haven't been taught and grown enough to have that emotional maturity to accept what they're saying at face value and just accept it as advice and just take it without having to see and have faith in what they're saying, you're going to lead to a lot of these situations that we're telling you about. And I think the goal here is to, us to grow as each other, in our own lessons that we're learning from these relationships and situations, but also like hopefully somebody will hear this and they will be mature enough to hear it and not have to bump their head and just hear how we bumped our heads and do better at a younger age and be even further along than we are. Yes, sir.
Don't let your penis lead you where your mind won't.
Wild words, face.
Boy, that's funny and profound at the same time. Yes, sir. Right on time. Padawan.
Mine actually leads myself into the same place, man. Never mind. Anyway, pause.
No, say what you're gonna say, man. This your space, man. Speak.
All right.
Speak your speech, my brother.
I want to say, there's probably a lot of factors for like my breakups. And each one I do put myself to blame. Each one. And not necessarily a negative way or positive, or I say in a positive way, but I do put some blame towards my actions and me growing up and not knowing who I am as a person, pretty much. Also, I always had that mindset, like, I'm not going to be where I'm at for a long time. Like, I've always had that. I'm not in the military or anything like that. I just had that mindset that I'm going to, knowing me, I got the same blood as my real dad. I'm going to venture off somewhere. Somehow. There's going to be an opportunity somewhere. I'm going to just go for it. Or whatever. In my previous relationship, just now with Chicken Sandwich, I think that was pretty much what happened. I ain't even gonna lie. That's probably what happened. And it's just other things like
and not laughing at your story. It's just the fact that we're 5 years in and we call her Chicken Sandwich.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say her real name. But other things is like
I've never known it.
I put it in the chat. I put it in the chat. It's pronounced like I just put it that way.
Okay.
But it's spelled different.
Okay.
Oh shit! All right.
Oh shit.
And I had a good relationship with her. It wasn't the problem with that relationship is we both had that mindset like we're not gonna be here for a long time. Like she had her goals and plans before she met me, and I had my own goals and plans before I met her, and we just clicked at the time. And then eventually I think it just was gonna happen. And then it's just certain things like with her, I kind of feel like she was a bit petty sometimes with certain things. Like she just was too confrontational, and I'm not a confrontational person. Especially when I've seen actual confrontations and they don't go good. Like I don't want everything. I bump into a person, I gotta fucking fight this person right here and there. I don't want everything to be that. She just, yeah.
I remember those stories.
Yeah, she's just a little too much for that or whatever. And then even when I go and confront the person that you want me to confront, you don't like how I confront them. But I'm down here with this person This nigga's taller than me, bigger than me, and he's probably a crackhead. I don't know how you be a big crackhead, but hey, he missing teeth.
You got that super crack.
He missing teeth, and he don't look like he lose a lot of fights. But
that's math. That's math. It looks similar at times, but it's a very different strength level that you get.
Yeah, but yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Man, the fact that yours begins with that letter is funny because mine also begins with that letter for my last one, and I think it's similar to that.
I got bored.
Oh shit! Let me shut up.
I got bored. The simple fact that a lot of times when I go in a relationship, I kind of go in there paranoid. Like, why do you like me? Like, what is it about me that you like? Ain't nobody else like me like this. Why do you like me? You know what I'm saying? And I go into that mentality. With the first A, I would say her name backwards, 6'11".
No, I know exactly who that is. You ain't gotta say no more.
With the first A, I do still take accountability. Total accountability. Not total accountability. I think it was more kind of like a Disney version of Face's story. Like
Yo, y'all know my imagination and the way I see shit be visual as hell. Yeah, we ain't even go there. But that's crazy.
It was like the PG version or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I just imagine Princess Tiana pulling out a gun.
Yeah,
that's wild. That is wild. But that, and it's just that also we got personality clash with the first A. And I think it's a lot of times the personality clashes. Like, we both chill and everything, but we disagree with a lot of stuff. Like, like with just like as far as morals and values and stuff like that, but or whatever. Like, I had a darker sense of humor, and she thought that was a depression thing. It might have been somewhat, but I still have that dark humor. And I feel like I'm in a better mental space than I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? And then it's just, I don't know. She Republican.
I have a lot of thoughts on that one.
Yeah.
That one and S were traumatic for me as y'all friend.
Mm-hmm. And then
Jesus.
God bless you. God bless you, both of y'all.
That sound like you and Faith.
Traumatic for me.
Yeah, to watch a boy go through certain shit is
like
Jesus.
heartbreaking sometimes.
That hurt me.
We cool as shit right now. I would never be in another relationship with her, but
you know what? Not to interject there, but Tiz, that sounds like a good top 3.
What's that?
3 times you tried to intervene in friends' lives. So it could be your homeboy, you know, it could be a relative, you know, it could be some other friend that you know.
I got plenty of those shit.
Does it have to go wrong or right, or is it just 3 times you intervene, period?
No, it might be even more interesting if it didn't go right.
Okay. Okay.
So put that on lock.
I got plenty of them shits too.
So give him the apron for the week. It's the
last call is producing.
It's the segment that's been slipping the nation.
Stupid.
This could cause an argument, but hopefully it don't, man. The Tiz's top 3 for the week, sponsored by Last Call Podcast. Your top 3 moments when you intervened in a friend or loved one's life or situation.
Are we doing it right now?
First?
We're doing it this week?
Yeah, might as well.
Hold on, who said what?
Can I go first?
No, not this week. Are we doing
this one?
Whenever we do it.
Tiz,
you going first, last call, or you want me to go first?
Oh shit! I don't know. 1 or 2 of mine's too deep.
Oh, because I thought you were saying you sponsored it, so I thought you were saying you was about to rock out.
No,
I go first.
I was saying in the future, Face is too eager to go. I was saying sometime in the
This is
future. I
the
didn't mean
future.
today.
The
What
future
else
is
we
now.
doing?
Well, let Face just do his top
I
three
know, right? All right.
for
What else
today
we
as
doing?
Face,
a
give us a
Let it ride.
preview.
I mean,
as a
look, man,
preview.
we
You know
we
what I'm
are
saying?
an hour and a half into the
And we
pod.
can keep
I'm
What's
2 and a
better
half.
time
I
than
was
that?
gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Hold on. He's saying he wanna do it, but he wanna wait till he's gonna
Okay.
be on to actually. I got what you're saying. Okay, now I'm picking up
Okay.
what you're putting down. I was
Okay.
lost at
Okay.
first.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'll
That's
wait.
fine.
I'll wait.
Cause I can go into my last. Hold on, Pat. Do you have another relationship you want to reveal? Because I do have my last one, but I do want to make sure you
nah,
have
I'm
your
good.
full
'Cause,
time to like go through the breadth of your.
nah, most of my other breakups were
Hey,
kind of
was rough.
mutual. To tell you the truth, all of my breakups were kind of mutual. And actually, to tell you the truth, a
Shit.
lot of my exes I'm cool with today, except
I
for
was
the
gonna say
chick.
you probably had the best track record non-sexually of like I still cool with this person. I
Mhm.
actually like this person still, and they like me, and we can get along and hang out.
Not
Well,
me.
see, this
All mine, all we doing is fucking.
I,
That's it. I am gonna be honest with you. It ain't. If they call me, I know exactly what they want. They ain't calling to hang out. We not talking after this. They calling for this.
But if
I
I
already know
can
what's
rock and
happening.
do
They
Because you
calling for
don't
the
like me
wang
like
dang
that,
doodle, huh?
So I know what
if
we doing.
if you allow my
She
mind
calling for the dang
to
doodle.
things, if you
The
allow
wang dang diddy.
2
if y'all
words.
allow me to
Baby
explain my
oil.
mindset right quick, and then we'll just go into yours, Tiz, right quick, just why I'm like this. But it might be in part that I grew up with nothing but women around me, so I'm used to just having a regular we just joking around relationship with women, just like I'm hanging out with a homeboy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I always had that. Like when I was younger, I had my cousin Candace, and she was pretty much my homeboy, and or whatever. And all girls from Portsmouth are like like not to say in a bad way. I like homeboys. Are like they most of the girls in Portsmouth fight.
Okay.
My sister fought.
Oh, for sure.
They fight, and they fight dudes. They don't just fight women. They fight
And fight
dudes
well.
majority of the time. Like my sister fight, my cousin Candace fight, my niece when she was 9 beat up a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say they throw them thing like they
ain't playing around. They fight
throwing meat
like
rockets for sure.
like yeah. So I always had like a homegirl or whatever throughout my so in my mind it's like and then it's like I'm against embarrassing moments. I am. Like if I feel like my whole thing is if she's comfortable around me, then we good. We good at that level of comfort.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't want no other problems. I was afraid of the Me Too movement before it even happened because I saw it happening before it happened. Like seriously, my homeboy twin. Matter of fact, before all this stuff that's going on, he said this. I swear, like around 2007, 7-ish, 2009, 10-ish, there is going to be a point of time where the roles are just going to be completely reversed.
Yeah.
And lo and behold.
And speaking of twin, I think that's exactly where I'm gonna leave my last point on this particular topic, and then I'm gonna let y'all rock out on the next one. My A, since you mentioned all your A's, Pat, around that same time as your first A, I had my A.
Oh, I know that A.
Hang on for 1 second, Tiz.
B-A. Go ahead, big dog.
I just want because I'm gonna drop down soon. Is this in the same round robin? Like it's your turn to explain yours now?
I'm giving my last one. I had already actually given some before y'all came in, so my first ones is already done. Like my major ones, if you want to know the deep ones, like the last, like my marriage and like my engagements and shit, those were the early ones. This one is like the one that I take 100% accountability, but it wasn't bad.
Okay. So for the crew, for my
this
dude,
is the only one that isn't bad.
We will, because I don't want to just like jump off in the middle of it. I want to hear. We're going to listen to Tiz's last one here, and then we're going to drop down and then close up my session on my end. So
yes, sir.
before you
Hey man, salute to you for figuring out how to even do this. I think this is probably the first time I've ever seen
luck.
any double. I've never seen this happen. So appreciate, shout out to you and your tech genius tonight for figuring this shit out and even making this like this was amazing. This is probably the coolest moment that I've had on from a tech geek standpoint of like, how the fuck did you do this? And let's do this more like in the world. Like streamers should be doing this all the time. Like this is fucking amazing.
It is amazing. And at first it was just supposed to be a little joke because I knew you guys were on, and then I was in the background. I was like, oh shit, they're on.
Sorry again for encroaching on your night. If
cool,
our
man.
lives had been so hectic this week, we definitely would never have went on this night. But yes,
no problem. And just for fun, I was like, let me see if I could tap into their show if I could say a quick hi. And then it ended up working out, man. So maybe if we got to do this in the future, you know, we can do this in the future, man. So that's very neat shit. And thank you for letting me stick around for a little bit.
Yes, and also like add this information to like a brother of a certain age.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the other brothers that are like, you know, of equal ilk. Like I think this is a cool way to like cross-pollinate each other's chats, but also like have conversations that more people can be a part of that may not be exposed just because of the, you know, the different groups. So dope idea. Salute to you 100%, man. Like
nice.
Hey man, if y'all can, y'all see the links right there in the chat, man. If you want to check out any of Last Call's podcast or just his channel in general, he drops clips. Shorts.
Face Pat.
It's hella shit. Face Pat. Yes, you heard what he said at the beginning. Get your ass up in these damn chats, man, and come join me over on these brothers' pods, man. We got to continue to build each other's platforms, and like they having dope conversations that I think y'all would really resonate with as well. Like if it's interesting to me, I definitely know that like y'all would like get some out of it and probably have good perspectives on. So please join me over there on a brother of a certain age, and of course Last Call's podcast. You see the link right there if you want to join any of Last Call's podcasts. Check out his latest post, or just, you know, catch all of his clips and vids that he drops weekly. He drops them several times a week, so you can't really lose.
Indeed.
Whatever format you into, long form, medium form, short form, he got all of those different areas. So check him out. Definitely dope perspective, and the amazing conversation he had on Exonerated 5 gotta continue to be highlighted. Please go check that. That was a really dope build. The guest he had on, the way he curated it, it was fire. You know what I'm saying? And I had already seen the documentary and still learn more just throughout the platform of the people that came up willing to add the expertise, his own perspectives and different insights in different parts of the documentary. Like, but check it out. I don't want to ruin it by spoiling it here. Check it out.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, and a brother of a certain age as well was just on there last night, man. Make sure y'all check out his podcast as well. He's a little bit he's kind of like the Kendrick of the group. Like he come out every 2 years, but when he do come out, it's always something profound, and he always does a very excellent job of like moderating and moving the conversation in a really smooth fashion. And the conversations that he usually has is like stuff you can apply to your life tomorrow. So yeah, please pull up on these brothers. I'm actually about to get brother of a certain age link posted here, man. But yeah, man, I just wanted to say that before Last Call go out, because I definitely think if anybody's here listening or they catch the replay and they don't know who these brothers are, they need to. So go check their platforms out and hit them links that we're posting right now.
Appreciate it. And I'll just add, it doesn't even have to be that long. If we do this again and you just want to jump in on a Tiz 3 or give your opinion, jump back to your show, whatever you want to do, we all that. So I see good potential in this as well, man.
Indeed, my brother. And I don't know that I would want to go on doing somebody else's time. Like that's usually kind of like one of our things is we try to like,
heard that,
you know, if it's somebody I don't know like that or something, cool. But if it's one of the homies, and I usually want to be there to support y'all as well. So we try to like make it so that we don't overlap. Tonight was just one of those extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, man.
Like,
yeah.
It's either we get this in tonight or we got to cancel again this week, and we ain't want to double up on that. So that's more the situation. But
glad you got it.
But yeah, I definitely like this format, and if I think that the best usage of this format going forward is like when we have similar topics that we want to tackle instead of instead of having content overlap, just overlap the content purposefully and actually curate it to be that way.
Nice.
And then that way we're getting the traction at the same time instead of like having that algorithm competition or whatever the case may be, just because we may have certain like crossover viewers and stuff. But you know, that's looking more into like deeper. But like I think this can be like a sector wide, a group wide, just people who vibe with each other. This can be a new movement because again, I've never seen this personally. It may have been done, but I've never seen it, and I think this is a cool way to
perhaps maybe we
grow
started some
channels,
shit.
but also just get conversations pushed to
Look at
different
that.
audiences that may be into it. Just dope. So salute to you, my brother. I really appreciate you curating this and making this happen tonight.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. With that, I think I'm going to drop down and close mine up. I see Pat just dropped me. Welcome, Pat.
You're finally joining. Welcome.
Say to the last call chat that I appreciate their tech support while we were trying to figure things out.
That is funny. All right, brothers, man. Good to talk to you. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Always.
And look forward to more in the future.
Always.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
guys.
Always
Thank
welcome,
you
brother.
for adding your story to
alcohol.
this.
All right, man. Night.
Indeed, my brother. That boy said night. He hit me with the what's the new meme now where like dudes is calling their friends like, hey man, good night. Hey man, good night, man. I just want to tell you good night, man.
Oh yeah,
Night, bro. Sleep tight, man. Hope you have sweet dreams and shit.
Talking shit about.
Hey, but you know what, man? No homo, man. Pause and all that shit. Whatever I gotta say, but all jokes aside, like I really do like the fact that we get more comfortable with like just being.
All right.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, brother of a certain age. Yes, you heard that correctly. He said that.
All right.
But all jokes aside, I do like that we're getting to a place in
down.
society where like.
All right. Coming back to mine, coming back to you guys. Hopefully still in the thing over here. All right. That was I'm gonna close it up now, but definitely I had to come back to close it up from our perspective. That was wild. I didn't actually expect to be part of their show for so long. I didn't expect them to be part of mine. That was a neat little thing we did. I don't know how many streamers did that. So if you weren't here or you're just like catching me, I tapped into the partners. Normally Tiz is on here on Friday night. Actually, the partners used to do Friday night for a long time. That was their night. Then they had to switch to Saturday night. So as I was starting up, it was easier for me to slide into Friday night. And it's been going, I've been trying to stay on Friday night for a long time now. And Tiz would come on and chop it up. So no, it's not actually Last Call Reacts. So during the show today, you know, we discussed a couple things. We had some good conversations. Joe came back and jumped on the panel, you know, did her thing. And make sure that we do tune in. I got to make sure I put a post up for Josephine's show tomorrow. I think it's going to be at 5:00. So make sure that you log in. I might not be able to spend as much time as I want over there just because I know I have to be running around and stuff, but whatever. See how it goes. Peace out to Emmanuel. Good to see you as always, man. Thanks for checking me out again. Always having fun, man. Definitely appreciate Emmanuel, the OG. And Josephine, thank you. I know you're working on your stuff, but you know, I'm going to see you tomorrow. Stephanie, always thank you for coming through. If you didn't hear or see a Brother of a Certain Age's podcast yesterday, I make a little appearance on there. Stephanie jumps up on there with her expertise as well. It's a pretty good show. And she was on my podcast a week ago on Friday when we were talking about the exonerated 5-2. She had a lot to say with that. So a lot of good contributions, as well as YM and anybody else who tapped in and anybody else that was in the chat as well. Lorna, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. We had Information Man slid by and gave us a greetings as well. Black Anonymous, good to see you. Even though you jumped over there to the partners, it's all right. I'll forgive you this time, man. I'll forgive you this time. Kimberly, Kimberly, you too. You didn't think I'd find you, huh? He went over there, the partners. It's cool, man. It's all like one and the same. It's just good that we have a good community of good people in here, man. And I really enjoyed doing this and hanging out for a few hours on a Friday with you guys. So let's continue to do that. You like the content? Check out my live once a week on Friday. This is that. We discuss things. I already have the next documentary that I'm going to do in mind. If you're not checking out the live, check out the videos that I drop at least once a week on things that are going on in the YouTube sphere or the news, current events, all that good stuff. And check out my Digging in the Crate section once in a while when I drop those gems too. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do it. Do it. Subscribe. All right, man. It's the start of your weekend. Have a good time. Be safe out there, people. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you. Go check out the partners, and I'll check you guys out when you come back. Thank you, man. Peace, peace, peace. Be good to each other.